Jones, produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart, dog! Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that damn beautiful! Hey! 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 Hey!
Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
Game night. Game night. We can put the last couple of games behind you for Arkansas basketball. Let's get to it against the Alabama Crimson Tide tonight. 6 o'clock, so you're going to make your plans to get out there early today when you are basically told that you got to start earlier than you'd like because of television purposes. That throws a little bit of the idea of getting there into whack. It's just an hour difference, but 7 o'clock is that sweet spot, isn't it? 7 o'clock is a sweet spot for a home game in almost any of the, non-football sports. I mean, 7 o'clock a little different as far as that's concerned, but for basketball, for baseball, that is the sweet spot. It's perfect for everybody to have enough time to finish at work and beat the traffic or fight the traffic, whatever, to get into the arena 30 minutes before tip. Right? I'm being a little bit, probably a little bit unequal about it because not everybody gets there 30 minutes before tip-off. But when you start at 6 o'clock and you're playing a team in Alabama that has some big road wins this year, and you're a basketball team that right now needs a little bit of a goose as far as scoring the basketball on the road. At home, you've been able to do it. But I don't know. There's something about the idea of a magic number today. If I remember correctly, that magic number was, I think, 75 if you're able to find a way to get there against Alabama, which is going to be tough. 65 against Alabama can be tough at times. But the home crowd can make a difference at Bud Walton Arena. We have seen that this year already against a good Mizzou team. Matt Jones, I know Alabama. I think Alabama's better than Missouri. They're better than almost anybody right now in the SEC outside of potentially Tennessee. They've played a little better to start the conference schedule than Arkansas has. They've shown the ability to go on the road and beat good teams. But nothing can stop a team streaking than 19,200 screaming Razorback fans at Bud Walton Arena calling the Hogs. I think the home crowd can make a difference. We've seen this year already, and it's not just this year, it's Arkansas basketball over the years. They feed off of that crowd at Bud Walton. And I wish this was a Saturday game. I do. I wish this game was a Saturday where you knew you could guarantee you could plan your weekend or at least that day around the basketball game. But leave work early. You're getting plenty of you're getting a note from us to get out a little bit early so you can get to the arena today. You've been there. I mean, the home crowd makes a difference for Arkansas.
They do, and it's pretty simple way to get to the game. That trolley comes around and picks people up, and they can bring you right there. So they do a great job of funneling you in and getting you out. When I look at Alabama, Phil, and you look at who they've played and where they've won, they're not scared. I mean, they beat Mississippi State at Mississippi State. That win, Houston at Houston. So we know they're for real, and so you got to bring it, and that energy and that atmosphere can be a 3-point advantage, I think.
Well, I hope it's a little more than just a 3-point advantage, because if you're just going by what you've seen recently, Alabama might be a little better than 3 points better than Arkansas right now. I'm not saying that's what you see tonight, but
they're
over
probably
the course
best
of
team.
These last 3 games, they look like they are right now. I mean, road victories mean a little bit more than just the one win, right? I mean,
they beat North Carolina.
A little more meaning from them.
They look like they can win in a lot of different ways. Shootout against North Carolina and Gonzaga. Then they can also just hold teams to 64, 67, 62, 52. Those are their last 4 games. So they It's going to be tough, but I think that crowd will be rocking. And I always got the Hogs at home, especially under Musselman. Man, they seem to go on runs that we couldn't do against Auburn on the road. We could never really get that 8-0, 10-2 run. We'll get that a couple times here at home. That's the difference, I think, about playing at Bud Walton than playing on the road.
Well, you even saw it, man. That Missouri game. I mean, one bucket and the crowd rose to their feet and cheered for a stop. And when they got that stop, things got just a little bit louder.
I thought their coach made
and then a bucket, and it got even louder. I mean, that's that momentum that you build at home, which can be difficult to put together on the road. And it is a team, Matt, that I think feeds off their own defense, or hopefully can. You know, if it's a team that struggles in 3-point range, they shouldn't struggle if they can create turnovers and get things going and bring the crowd to their feet
every time.
Keep that momentum. Every
time the coach calls a timeout, they call those Hogs. And I thought the first mistake that Missouri coach made was calling a timeout with 37 seconds left to go in the first half when we went on a little run, because all we did was just get the electricity going and call the Hogs that whole timeout.
That's exactly right. Well, I mean, you're facing a team in Alabama that scores at every level. They've got good 3-point shooters. They can get out and run. They've got size, shot blockers, rebounding. The one thing that they have trouble doing, and it obviously hasn't hurt them all that much because they have 2 losses in 15 games, have won 4 in a row. And, man, they haven't just beaten SEC teams. They beat Mississippi State by 11.
They're running away.
Vegas. Yeah. And then they punked Ole Miss and Kentucky back-to-back games. Neither of those teams right now, and the Rebels and the Wildcats, are doing very well. They're not a good team right now, either of them. But Alabama made them look bad in both of those ball games too. But one thing they don't do is win the turnover battle, and that's one aspect where Arkansas can. Like, how do you? What's the 2 ways you start a fast break that you get your transition game going? Rebound, outlet, run. Or create a turnover, push that sucker, and get to the rim. And that's the way to do it in this game today. You can create some turnovers, being active defensively, and then you don't have to worry about talking about, hey, we're standing around in the half court. Like, you have to score in the half court. I get that. But if you get moving and get that blood going and the fans' juice going, that's what I'm talking about, the difference at Bud Walton Arena.
We were way more aggressive, Phil, in that second half at the Missouri game, and that's right. It's even a made basket. We can get the ball out and get up the floor. That's the thing. We're kind of lollygagging or just taking our time. Let's get it and go. Let's get it and get up to the front court and get them kind of on their heels a little bit.
Man, it's interesting, and I don't have the ESPN odds up in front of me right now, but it's an easy way to pull that off. We just get this computer in front of us, because I see Bet Saracen right now has Alabama as a 1.5-point favorite at Bud Walton Arena, and I mean, that's Bet Saracen. That's a lot of Arkansas fans that are putting money on that game. This is really interesting, Matt, because Bet Saracen, who is a sponsor of our show, they operate inside the state of Arkansas. Mm-hmm. Right now, the money is on Alabama.
That's what that means.
As far as Arkansas fans are concerned, because the ESPN odds, I think they get them from Caesars Sportsbook, has the Razorbacks favored by 1. See, there's this perception outside Arkansas right now of what the Razorbacks are and what it means to play at Bud Walton Arena. And then there's a perception, I think, inside the state amongst the fan base. It's a little bit different. The fact that the lines of the in-state book that we talk about and the out-of-state book, the national book that you can't put money on if you're in the state of Arkansas because of the laws, that tells you where the fans' mindset is. That's interesting.
I'd be a little nervous too watching this Alabama team and seeing how we've played the last couple games. I mean, it's if you were to I mean, yeah, I still think the Hogs are going to win, and we got the magic up on the hill. But if you're saying talented, man, Alabama's looked better than Arkansas has the last few games. They really have. But we got the talent. We'll make some shots tonight.
I've always been told, I think we've even brought it up before, hope is not a plan. But I got a little bit of hope as far as this is concerned, because we've all been inside Bud Walton Arena where a team has come in playing red hot, and they walked out of the building with their tail between their legs saying, you know what, that's the toughest place to play in the entire
It could get us
SEC.
going, Phil. This could be the recipe we need. You get this home win, big crowd, number 4 team, top 5 team comes in. You find a way to fight, scrap, claw, get you a victory, and maybe that kind of springboard us on a little 5-6 game run in conference play.
We've got a packed show today of guests and co-hosts. Clay Henry wasn't with us yesterday, so he's going to be on with us at 12 o'clock today. And our usual 3 guests for a Wednesday, Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation in the 12 o'clock hour, Bill King in the 1 o'clock hour from Nashville Sports Radio, and Grant Hall in just a moment. But with the discrepancy in these betting lines, I want to know what you, our listeners, think about this game today and really the state of what the team has looked like in these first 3 games. That has certainly been the overarching topic yesterday, along with Georgia's dominance in the national championship and looking a little bit forward into the transfer portal. The Hogs got a commit that they were hoping for yesterday, this Isaac Tesla, big receiver who played Division II football and was really productive. A lot of other teams were after him.
I like it. We need some help. I think he helps right away.
Yeah, we'll touch on that. Good news that Damar Hamlin has been released from the hospital in Buffalo. I think that came out about an hour ago. And just reading Tom Murphy's report in the Democrat Gazette today, it sounds like it might still be a while for Peyton Hillis, but he is slowly improving.
It's
and
great
hopefully
news.
that news continues to get a little bit better as he remains in the ICU in Florida. All right, we're going to step aside for a break, and we have Grant Hall joining us next on Halftime.
Who cares about Blue Bloods when you believe Razorback Red?
For maybe the win. One. Thurman, 2-pointer. Yeah.
Play to win. Play for each other.
Thank you to everybody that said we had no chance.
Play for Arkansas. It's time for the next era. Let's make it Razorback Red.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Up to $12,000 off on premium pre-owned vehicles at Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. The biggest savings are right on the front row. The manager specials, huge variety, great selection, and even bigger savings with up to $12,000 off. Most of these vehicles still have factory warranty remaining, so you can buy with confidence. And nobody will pay more for your trade than Harry Robinson. Up to $12,000 off on pre-owned vehicles. Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisol.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sports book in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters.
Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
What's the room again?
1080, down at the end.
Ooh, what's that? Hey, don't touch that. It's gross.
Here we are. Got the key?
You have them.
Oh, great. It's not working.
Try flipping it over.
Oh, my gosh. Seriously?
Okay.
Why can't we go inside?
Bring it over.
I'm tired. Oh, my gosh.
Give me yours.
Really? You have mine.
Oh, yeah, right.
Really?
I'm tired. Oh, my gosh.
Can everyone just shut the...
Don't go there. Go on a real vacation. Breeden RV, Highway 64 between Alma and Van Buren. Tired of spending all your hard-earned cash at the gas pump right now? Wheeler Power Sports is here to help you out. They have a giant selection of motorcycles and scooters to help maximize fuel efficiency. There are over 50 scooters in stock right now, with some getting up to 100 miles per gallon. Wheeler also has a great selection of motorcycles from the Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Kimco. Check out their full inventory at WheelerPowersports.com or 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I've always kind of wondered, where exactly is Funky Town?
We talk about it.
You want Fayetteville to be Funky Town tonight? Fayetteville is funky. It's a little different. That's a good thing. A lot of college towns are. Fayetteville might be funkier than some of the others. Grant Hall is with us here on Halftime today. Grant, we're hoping Fayetteville is Funky Town and the Hogs can get dancing tonight against Alabama. Though I didn't realize, though, until I looked at the Bet Saracen app, that maybe at least the majority of the betting public inside the state of Arkansas, they're putting their money on Alabama, man, and it's a little different than potentially what we're seeing across the country. Hogs have to defend the home court. They've done that under Eric Musselman against some really good teams the last 2 years. What do you make of this game tonight?
Well, if they're looking for motivation, I heard who was it, Patrick Young say the other night that he thought that Alabama would score 80 or 90 pretty easily against Arkansas.
Oh my goodness!
In this game, so there's some, but it's a different vibe. I mean, it's a 6:00 game. So do you go to Herman's at 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon? And like you were talking about, Phil, it'd be nice if it were a weekend game, but it is what it is, and it's going to be fun. I give Arkansas's spirit groups and the guy that I call the new Jim Robkin, who basically doesn't let there be any fall off in the first 2 or 3, 4 minutes of the second half. That was always kind of the time when maybe fans went to concession stands, and sometimes the opposing team could come out and sneak a few points. But it was constant noise the other night, and these two coaches, when you think about it, and I think they're both in their 8th year of college coaching, might be two of the best. I was going to say 5, maybe even 3 in the country right now. Roy Williams is gone, Krzyzewski's gone, Chris Beard's out now, and except for Bill Self, maybe you guys can think of others.
Izzo.
Boeheim.
Is Izzo
yeah,
still?
Izzo,
yeah.
Right, absolutely. But Boeheim And,
is Sampson the Houston coach?
Yes.
I like him too. Yeah,
he's outstanding.
Yeah.
But Calipari, and Boeheim seem to be going the wrong way, and this team beat Houston at Houston, so that'll give you an idea. And the guy that I think is sort of must watch right now is Brandon Miller, who is a 6'9" small forward, and just he would be worth the price of admission just to kind of watch him operate. Matt, who do you think? Will Arkansas try to put Devo in him and give up 5 inches because he's their best on-ball defender?
I think you got to put Walsh on him, and you kind of got to do it by committee. And I was going to ask you, what does it feel like this is two teams going in opposite directions right now? Like this might be kind of a make-or-break game for the Hogs?
Yeah, I mean, it was all they could do to come back from that big 17-point deficit and beat Missouri last week. The LSU game now looks a little different. They've lost 3 times. So I know Arkansas started this way under Musselman, but if you say, well, they'd be 1-3 again. They've done it before, but because of the 2 big players missing right now, this feels like. In fact, Eric told us last week. He said he told the team before the Missouri game, this is a must-win, and he doesn't usually do that, and maybe that put too much pressure on him. Explaining some of the bad start. But tonight, I think it would qualify that way if you have designs on trying to be a contender in the SEC. And right now, I would say Tennessee and Alabama look like the 2 that most observers around the country would think would fight it out for the championship. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, I feel like it is teams going in opposite directions. That this is a big game for Arkansas. I don't think it's the end all be all. But this is a defining moment where this could catapult us to a 5-6 game win streak. It starts with 1. It'd be a shame to fall to 1-4. Would be 1-3 in the SEC?
Yeah, 1-3. And Eric said Monday night on his radio show that they spent 90 minutes as a staff talking about just about the lineup for this game. And he talked about how, remember, Trey Wade came in and was a really good. It was a selfless guy in the playing more significant minutes that helped them rally last year. So you kind of wonder who that might be in this game. What kind of impact? I think Pinion still could be huge. One thing about games like this, Matt, and we've seen it when the home crowd. If you make 3 or 4 3-point shots early in the game, that seems to really set the tone.
Absolutely.
And Pinion is a guy who could do that, and he sits there in the deep corner. I thought the other day, in the 12 minutes he played, it's almost like his teammates were playing keep away from him.
He's got to move a little bit more. Like, I know what you're saying. He's just over there sitting, and you watch J.J. Redick, you watch Kyle Court, you watch the guys that he's trying to be, man. Those dudes don't stop moving. When they just basically, you got to keep. We passed the ball good against the zone. We just didn't move against the zone that well.
Well, and the other thing too, Grant, I mean, so the 3-point shooting, and Pinion might be the only guy who can consistently knock it down if he starts getting his confidence going. You got to find a way to get to the foul line here against Alabama. They did that against Auburn, and nobody makes 100% of their free throws unless they're the Miami Heat last night, which was nuts. That's a different story, something to get into later. But you got to find a way to get to the foul line, and it's got to be more than just Anthony Black.
Eric had this factoid the other night. He said that on the national shot chart, analytically, Arkansas should have beaten Auburn by 8 points. And you look at the massive rebounding advantage, and they just missed a ton. What was it, 15 shots inside? Now, part of that was a guy blocking 6 shots, and those.
And Alabama's got the same thing. I mean, they don't block they don't have the total necessarily, season total that Alabama has, but they got 7-footer. They got 6'10". They got 6'9". They've got shot blockers too. I mean, that shot blockers, this, they don't just block shots. They're in the back of everybody's mind when they're in the lane. I mean, that's one of the reasons that they might have had troubles against Auburn. And man, you got to be. That was one thing they were really good at before getting into SEC was finishing around the rim. Well, you weren't facing teams that were really littered with a ton of shot blockers.
Well, Eric said we have too many guys perimeter-oriented or standing, and so he said maybe we just need to set better screens.
Mm-hmm.
And as fundamental and sort of wonky as that sounds, it's not the glamour thing, but that something like that could be the difference in this game. And but it's just I don't know. I mean, I thought the missing all those free throws really did affect things at Auburn.
I don't want to put too much like on this game. Look, I mean, this is the game that's right in front of us. You want to go out and win this. Maybe Alabama's the best team in the country right now. So you want to go out and do your absolute best. You want to win this game. I don't think the season rests on this. Look, Musk can say one thing to the team, and they want to win this game badly. Well, what they need is just something to get the confidence going offensively, and something happening at Bud Walton. Yeah, that'd be great. The next 2 games are on the road. You know, you get Vanderbilt, that's not playing very well on the road. It's just, just to get something going. Maybe if it's today, but I mean, if you lose and you're 1-3, we've seen them come back from being 1-3 the last couple of years. Or am I putting a little bit too much, Grant, on the last 2 years? Because every team is different.
Well, yeah, I think you're right in a way, but I also think that we live in an age everything is about the now, and so tonight is going to be a lot of fun. And I just think about things like Eric said, he was really disappointed that Arkansas had just 4 steals against Auburn, and 2 of those were by Kamani Johnson. And not necessarily where you expect the steals to come from. So that has to be better tonight. That in a game like, and the other thing to remember, I think the stat is that Alabama shoots 40% of its shots as 3-pointers. I go all the way back to when the 3-point shot came in. Matt, Frank Broyle said to me, "Well, I'll never forget. I was driving him back for a golf outing, and he said, I don't know why every team doesn't have about 4 3-point shooters."
That's right. Yeah,
and he was right. I mean, it took a while for that to happen, but teams like Alabama that do that, you have to play great defense against it and be disciplined and hope your guys make a few of those things.
Yeah, I think Kamani Johnson needs to play big, and I forget which Mitchell twin it is, but the one that plays the most. If they can play big, physical, and strong, and be able to let Ricky Council – and the thing with – I love Ricky Council's game. I really do. I like everything about the kid. But the reason they're giving you this, you're 2 feet behind the 3-point line, is because you're not shooting that at a high clip. He needs to be able to still shoot that mid range better. I know this analytics says 3.3, but we don't shoot it well. So why do we keep shooting it? We just got to be competent. If there's 5 seconds left in the shot clock and you're wide open, or if you're wide open right on the 3-point line, I get it. But 2 feet back from the 3-point line, they're just not working. That's why they're leaving you open.
I tell you what it looks like. I mean, it looks like desperation. If they were,
start pressing a a little bit. Yeah, when we get down
scoring,
8. Yeah,
Ricky's not trying that 3-pointer.
You're right.
From 3 feet behind the line. I think the scorers that sometimes just feel pressure. All right, we're not really getting going. I gotta chuck one up because we've been standing around.
In the first half, Phil, I take it like football. To take your points, man. Let's be aggressive. Try to get them in foul trouble instead of – how many times have we made it where Jordan Walsh hasn't had 2 fouls in the first half? We got to stay – we got to keep our bigs a little bit out of foul trouble because Walsh is just as athletic as anybody out there, and then so he's only playing 7 minutes in the first. We need him out there a little more on that defensive, and he can get offensive boards. He can – if he's not out there, it's going to be tough. We got to rebound with this Alabama team.
Yeah, it was an interesting dynamic in post game after the Missouri game because Pinion and Council were the 2 guys that Arkansas brought in, and Pinion was the reason that Council started the second half on the bench. Mm-hmm. And as Eric explained it, he's looking for a word. He said, the only word I can think of is he was a threat to take his minutes away. In other words, that got Council's attention, and that both of them were there as the stars of the game afterwards. So they need maybe that kind of infusion again. Who knows? We may see somebody we're not even talking about. He actually mentioned that the couple of the younger point guards haven't played as much. Ford and Dunning aren't quite there, but it'll be interesting to see how Eric cobbles it together this time without these 2 really good players.
Grant, what's the biggest thing going on in golf these days? Sometimes I would research something to ask you a question about it, but then I realized, you know what? Why am I even trying? Let's just throw something general out there for you because you are the go-to guy across the state with this topic. What is big going on in golf right now?
Oh, I think I would probably say just the fact that since the Masters sent out credential requests this week, I'm thinking about April already and how, as we expected, Augusta National went ahead and let the LIV guys play, and I think the other majors will do that. And so that 1 week they'll all be together, and there'll be all kinds of stories about that. Of course, over the weekend, Morikawa, had this 7-shot lead.
What was that?
That's the second time he's had this happen to him, so you hope the scars don't. He looked like a guy who, now that he's, was putting better, might win 5 or 6 times this year. And, he made 3 bogeys in a row, and that was it. He lost to John Rahm.
Which John Rahm's a stud, yeah.
Yes, he is. But a couple of things to mention quickly, guys. This weekend, I saw the gymnastics team practice yesterday. They had a little thing for the media, and it's interesting to watch them. They've got 17 athletes, and when they first started, they had about 7 or 8, I think. So they got Alabama coming in Friday night. They're always great. I think Arkansas is ranked 15th, and also the indoor track season starts on Friday, so you can take your pick there of a couple of good events.
Well, it is a ton of fun to be over at Barnhill for those gymnastics events. I know they're doing 2 of them at Bud Walton Arena this year. I don't remember the ones out on the schedule, but man, you can get over $10,000 in there for gymnastics. You might as well give it a shot. It is fun. Grant, appreciate you, man. We'll visit with you the next Wednesday.
All right, see you.
Thanks, Grant.
Grant Hall, we always appreciate his time on Halftime. 877-377-6963 to get with us on Halftime. Well, yesterday you already had some interesting outcomes in SEC men's basketball. Oh, boy. They are ready with the pitchforks in Lexington. We'll get into that next on Halftime. You can call us at 877-377-6963 or send us a text as well. Be right back.
I am not who you say I am.
I'm a pastor.
I am a caregiver.
I am a father.
I am a friend.
I'm a doctor.
Chances are someone you know and love is struggling with substance use disorder, but recovery is possible. Help starts when we stop stigma, view each other with compassion, and reach out for help. Call 1-800-622-HELP to get started. This message sponsored by the North Arkansas Partnership for Health Education and supported by grant number 2018-AR-BX-KO85 awarded by the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Checking in at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. Got Dalton with me. And Dalton, there's a little bit of construction going on out front. The city's doing some drainage work. But, hey, the doors are still open for business.
Yeah, while they're making the city of Fort Smith better, we're making some deals happen. It's the end of the year. We want to sell as many cars as we can. And let's sell you a car.
I talked to Billy earlier about Bronco Sports. But when it comes to Mustangs, Randall Ford is Mustang Central. You have several new Mustangs and even some pre-owned Mustangs for sale.
Yeah, we've got 3 special edition Mach 1 Mustangs here on the lot, ready to go. A used GT Premium and
Showstopper red interior.
Yeah, Showstopper red interior, and we can't forget the GT 500. That thing is awesome.
Yeah, the GT 500's right on the showroom floor. Hey, if someone's interested in buying something, all you gotta do is ask for Dalton.
Ask for Dalton.
There you go. Ask for Dalton to come by and see us. We're at 5500 Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith at Randall Ford.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Needing your roof repaired? Ramos Roofing is a local company that has over 25 years of experience, specializing in your residential or commercial roofing needs in the Oklahoma area. Ramos Roofing, a company you can trust, offering discounts to senior citizens, law enforcement, or healthcare workers, and assists in your insurance claims. Ramos Roofing, standing behind their work so you can stand under it. Call 479-420-9903. That's 420-9903. Ramos Roofing, working with you to build a better home.
Searching for a promising career change? Looking for an established company that pays competitively and values its team members? Then come be a part of the Beckert family. Beckert in Van Buren has immediate openings for production operators paying up to $29 an hour. Sundays are paid at time and a half, and night shift work has an added premium of $1 per hour. Applications are available 24/7 at Beckert, located off I-40 at Exit 3. Apply today.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren, the best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Remember when you held my hand? Say, remember when you were my man? Walk, talk in the name of love. Before you break my heart, I dance on over. Roll it over in your mind.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Road teams went 3-1 in SEC men's basketball last night. So much of this has to do not with the venue, but with how a team is playing, right? But even at Rupp Arena, where the Wildcats had won 28 straight games, they lose to South Carolina, who had been just destroyed by Tennessee the previous game by 43 points. And South Carolina led nearly wire to wire, sending Kentucky to a 1-3 conference record at 71-68 final score. Auburn also beats Ole Miss on the road. Florida made it 3 straight losses for LSU since they defeated the Razorbacks at the PMAC. And this game was at the PMAC after LSU had lost at UK and at A&M. Only Tennessee pulled off the home victory yesterday, and they're 8-0 inside the arena in Knoxville. So 28 straight home games. Kentucky wins, and I'd seen a quote from Oscar Tshiebwe from last night's press conference, Matt. He basically said he is begging his teammates to fight, or for his coaches to send players on the floor who will fight, even if it's a walk-on. I mean, it sounds like Tennessee is coming apart at the seams. Hogs might have their problems right now scoring and shooting at times. I don't think they're coming apart at the seams the way that Kentucky is.
That's not Ricky Barnes still, is it? Out there at Tennessee,
he sure is.
That's he's an old Texas coach, dude. He's solid coach, man. I wonder what is behind the scenes there. Yeah, there's no. I think we got a good locker room. I think we could feel good about that on all across the board right now, man. Coach Pittman, Coach Muss, and Van Horn, and Coach Neighbor. I mean, they seem to get the right guys that want to be Razorbacks in. The locker rooms always seem to be pretty cool. My 4 years up there, Phil, football, and I know it's different, and basketball the 2 years, but locker room was always good. They always handled that really well.
Well, and I mean, you look at the situation with Arkansas coaches, and let's just talk about Muss. So let's say Arkansas, loses today at Alabama. They're 1-3 in the conference as well at that point, and nobody would be calling for his job the way that they're trying to chase Cal out of town now. So there was a sign apparently yesterday at Rupp Arena that told him to take the Texas job.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's I mean, if you could see Arkansas fans doing the same for Muss, they would never say go to Texas. Which it's even feels weird with Jalen Catalon transferring over there to Texas. But man, just a crazy situation at Kentucky where they return the National Player of the Year. They're talented. I don't know how tough they are. I don't think it's injuries that's doing Kentucky in. I mean, you at least have that reason for Arkansas that two of the guys that were expected to get a ton of minutes and score a lot of points are hurt. But much different at Kentucky. In Big 12, so Saturday, get a load of this. You're going to see Kansas State and Kansas meet in maybe the biggest game of the weekend. Kansas is ranked second. Kansas State is 11th. Kansas yesterday came from behind and beat Oklahoma 79-75. Kansas State beats Oklahoma State 65-57. And they got some Arkansas connections there at K-State. Not only just that, but Keontae. Do you remember Keontae Johnson? He was the young man that suffered heart condition at Florida, and I don't think he played for a couple of years.
Oh, he's at Kansas State now?
Yeah, he was one of the best big men in the SEC, and then the heart condition took him out for a bit. He transfers to Kansas State, and he's the league's leading scorer at 18.5 points per game. But Desi Sills is doing kind of, I think, what you'd expect that he would have done if he stayed at Arkansas, which is dish the ball, steal the ball, score just enough, and help him out. And they have a Little Rock transfer, Marquise Noel, averaging over 17 points per game. Kansas State is playing some great basketball right now, too. 877-377-6963 for any thoughts on college basketball. Arkansas and Alabama tonight.
Did we offer that kid that went to Kansas from Little Rock? You know, I always hate losing in-state talent, Phil. And I wondered,
he's from New York. He's from Manhattan, but he played 3 years at Little Rock.
I got you.
So yeah, I mean, that means he was a teammate of Kamani's then.
Yeah, like the kid that Danny West was talking about that had messed his ACL up in Arkansas and had some scholarships in Arkansas. I just wonder, you know, when kids are able to go out and play other places in the state, other Division I scholarships, you always wonder, why did Arkansas even try to get the kid, or what was the thing there if he wanted to be a Hog?
Well, I don't know in that situation as far as Noel's concerned, but he found a place to land. And Big 12, I mean, look, Big 12 right now is pretty hot. And again, they might have the best game of the weekend this Saturday with Kansas and Kansas State. See, Brad in Fayetteville asking about Isaac Tesla's game. Does it translate to the SEC? Well, there's certainly some other SEC programs that thought it would translate into the SEC. A&M, Ole Miss, amongst a few others. So, I mean, those are offenses that like to throw the ball around, depending on what quarterback they've got. So I would think if they believe that his game transfers to the SEC, that Coach Pittman and Kenny Guyton might be right too. He's got size, man. He's 6'2" and had 2 years of big time production. Division II numbers, I don't know what to believe as far as transferring to the SEC, but I also know it's like I said this about Will Levis yesterday. You know, if you can make plays in the SEC, you probably can make plays and smart decisions in the NFL.
He's bigger, stronger, faster. He's been able to put on 25 pounds since high school. You know, he's played 2 years. I think it's a whole different recruiting service you got to do. You recruit these kids out of high school. You're doing this, and then you go and watch these kids play at their next stop. If it's not SEC caliber, Division II, Division I, AA, wherever you got to look, and then you see if any of these kids can translate. Because I think there is, Phil. I think there's a lot of kids that are late bloomers, or not necessarily just these 5-star kids that are all going to Bama, Georgia, wherever, but they got to go somewhere else as a 3-star, but they might need 2 years to mature and to improve and grow up a little bit, and then they're able to come in and play. So I think it's a great fit.
Well, it's like this Andrew Armstrong, who's transferred in from A&M Commerce, an FCS program. I mean, from what I read, he put on some weight in his time at A&M Commerce. He got taller while he was there too. So these very well could end up being these are the most experienced wide receivers coming in for next year.
They know
as
what
far as right now, right? I mean, and they're guys, the one's of Division II and one from FCS. It's good. I mean, it's a fascinating, and I don't want to call it an experiment. I mean,
but they've lived the
Division
college
II
life.
guys play in the NFL. You see FCS guys play in the NFL. But for two of your top incoming receivers, in fact, they are your two incoming top receivers as of now. That could change in the future. People will have questions, and from the outside, I guess, as to whether or not that translates to the SEC.
Well, Phil, I was a 3-star, and there's more 3-stars in the NFL than there are 5-stars. So it's just necessarily because you've matured and you developed that when you're a junior in high school doesn't mean in 5 years you're still going to be the best thing. So, and the 3-stars, when you're not a 5-star, you kind of have a chip on your shoulder and you got something to prove. And I love the fact that these kids know what college life's about. They've been on a college campus. They see the routine. They know they're not they didn't just get done going to prom last semester. They've played a little bit, so they know what to expect. So I think both these kids are going to contribute for the Hogs next year, definitely.
Well, and they were both highly recruited after showing that they could perform at the previous schools. And they'll say, well, they have a relationship with Kenny Guyton. They like Sam Pittman and the fans and the facilities and all of that. If I'm a wide receiver that's looking to make a name for myself in the SEC, I'm looking to see who my quarterback is.
Right.
They might be coming here for KJ Jefferson specifically.
And this offense, Browse is going to throw it around. And the thing, Phil, that I love about KJ and Browse, what they do is they don't. I mean, unless you got your receiver like a Treylon Burks, but he throws it around 7-8 different players that have receptions.
All right, let's take a break here on halftime. When we get back, somebody went not just somebody. I mean, I even said this to somebody yesterday on our text line. No one's perfect from the free throw line. Well, the Miami Heat were. We'll get into that next.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind everyone to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I'd also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify.
The homestead tax credit can save you up to $375 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor.
Thank you from Art's Barbecue and Burgers for a successful year. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to shout out our amazing community of customers that we are grateful and thankful for, each and every one of you. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to continue to enjoy our best barbecue, burgers, all-you-can-eat catfish every Friday night, and of course, the great sides and desserts. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Art's Barbecue and Burgers on Rogers,
next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years' experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with the structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hey, this is Chad Warner, product manager for Booyah Bait Company in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The hottest swim jig on the Arkansas River right now is the Booyah Mobster. It was designed by the Muddy Water Mob, a bunch of river rats from Arkansas and Oklahoma, and it's winning tournaments on Dardanelle and Kerr like clockwork. If you're fishing submerged vegetation, water willow, lily pads, you need a Booyah Mobster to reel them in. Available at lurenet.com and tackle stores throughout Arkansas and Oklahoma, the Booyah Mobster.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. Listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
2-point game. Butler goes down on the block, and Butler scores! And one! The record set in 1982. And Butler makes it. 40 in a row.
I didn't realize they had not missed a free throw. But we've been a good free throw shooting team. Actually, a very good free throw shooting team all year. But that's crazy.
You hear Brian Anderson on the call, Eric Spoelstra afterwards, and the bucket by Jimmy Butler, an historic and one that not only put the Heat over the Oklahoma City Thunder for good, but that finished off a 40 for 40 for the Miami Heat yesterday.
How
record.
How unbelievable! And if you could make a small forward in a basketball lab, you'd make him like Jimmy Butler. You know, that's how you would clone as many Jimmy Butlers as you can. That dude, he can get buckets. Jimmy Buckets, man. He knows how to score. He's been doing it for a long time, and beautiful shot. I mean, his free throw just smooth as can be. If you're a young basketball player and you want to watch how to play basketball, watch Jimmy Butler play.
Well, he got to the line 23 times yesterday, Matt. He made every one of them. His career percentage looks like it is right over 90%.
That's what I mean.
84% for his career. So
he's a baller.
Better than that. It's amazing. So do you have a career? Do you know? Did you ever have a streak of free throws or anything in practice or anything? Games?
Phil, so we were playing at Athens. I was a freshman, and I got on the floor, and I go up to do a dunk, and I got fouled, and I was a little, excited. And my first free throw, I don't even hit the rim, air balls. And so the crowd at Athens, they're just like air ball. So you feel in the energy, you're like, oh my goodness, just hit the rim and let's get going. And bounced it off the backboard. So I didn't. My free throw percentage probably wasn't the best.
I did check your career numbers as far as that was concerned.
Oh, I know it wasn't very good. Yeah. I had a glitch in the matrix, man. I don't know what was going on. I was doing every little thing to try to figure it out, and couldn't figure it out. I don't know.
Does it come to a point where even if it's it's 15 feet, no one's in front of you, but everybody's watching.
Yeah, it was all mental. It's like
watching.
just not being able. It's the first time in my life that I wasn't able to do something that I was always able to do for mental, for your psychological, because I can shoot free throws all day, like what's going on, and it's just something just like you couldn't throw it to second base or whatever. It was just weird.
Think about who was the Michigan player? Was it Glenn Rice? It was that team, 1989, where he won the national championship at the foul line.
Oh, that's the guy that went to Atlanta. It wasn't Glenn Rice, but yes, I know exactly who you're talking about. They did a 30 for 30 on him.
It's just the most simple thing, something you've practiced your entire life. I mean, you can for Jimmy Butler. I mean, these pros, they're such a high level. They don't even. I mean, no, they don't feel somebody watching them at that moment. If you made 23 in a row, he doesn't know there's a record on the line or anything like that. He's just trying to make a free throw to win a basketball game, and something like Spoelstra says he didn't realize what their numbers were as far as the free throws are concerned. I don't know about that. I don't know what his tendencies are for looking at a box score, and they might hand it to you after a quarter of play. The players aren't paying attention to that. They maybe grab a box score in the locker room at halftime, but there's no way he knew that he'd made 23 in a row, and that 24 in a row would have made it a record for a team in a single game. Man, I mean, and look, I played youth league basketball and stuff like that, but I sat there, I would stand there at the free throw line when everybody else was gone. It's just what's one thing you can always do with basketball is just practice shooting, right? 15 feet away. Man, I couldn't even make 5 in a row. And if I got to 5 in a row, it certainly wasn't happening a 6th time. And no one was watching. Sounds a heck of a lot easier than it really is. And then people are watching, and the game might be on the line. It's never as easy as we make it seem. Clay Henry joins us after the break. Calls and texts come in at 877-377-6963. BE, they did say one more is an NBA record before that shot, so the announcers didn't jinx him because there is no jinx, and it was Ramil Robinson was the player. Thank you to Ted and JT for sending it in on the text line.
Frank Rowe Furniture is your family-owned furniture, appliance, and electronics store. We have been servicing the area for 38 years with quality products and service after the sale. Frank Rowe Furniture offers a no-pressure sales atmosphere where you can actually enjoy shopping for your furniture. We also offer in-store, no-credit check financing. Don't wait weeks to be able to take your furniture you purchase home. Stop by and we will load you up today. Family-owned, service after the sale, and no-credit check financing. Frank Rowe Furniture, 405 4th Street, Marlin, Arkansas. Best seats in the house.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Need to lose 100 pounds this year? Don't restrict your diet. Forget joining a gym. Instead, lose the weight of that cheating spouse of yours. At Mock Legal Solutions, there is no hourly billing. You pay one flat fee for your divorce. Call today, 479-769-1505. And let's be honest, it's closer to 200 pounds, right? Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Love and marriage, love and marriage.
Our world is trending to be less safe. Potentially dangerous situations can be prevented by simply keeping your doors locked and controlling who enters your building. Guardtronic can install an access control system that allows you to know who and what time your building is entered and who locks up. Guardtronic has provided security to the River Valley for over 60 years. They can provide access control and cameras so you can see and control who comes into your doors. Call them today at 800-542-7866 or connect with them through their website at guardtronic.com. License E050.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly sunny sky or high in the upper 60s to low 70s. We'll cloud up tonight. See a few showers or some thunderstorms. Our overnight lows will drop down in the upper 30s north, mid 40s south, and then falling temperatures on Thursday with partly to mostly sunny skies. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
I hate everything you just said. KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
They're hilarious.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's Halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones. Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! Turn that down, beautiful!
Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
And Clay Henry's joined us here on Halftime, a day after he usually does. So it's your back-to-back days today, Clay. How you been?
I'm good. I'm sorry. I appreciate you turning me loose. I wished I could tell you I went fishing yesterday, but I didn't.
No. I know you had other things going on. So today is a good day to get with you today. I saw you. You spent an hour with my man Bubba Carpenter yesterday.
Maybe more than
30 minutes
that.
too long, or did you want more than that?
No, it was probably closer to an hour and a half, and it was great. I mean, we talked about hunting. I wished I'd recorded the whole thing because it's just. I mean, I don't record interviews. That's just not my style. I just take notes and fill up a legal pad. I mean, you can't read any of it. I'll send you a picture of my scratching a little bit later so you can tell me if you can read it or not. But I've never had anybody complain that I misquoted them or anything, so I can usually go through it. But I went out to his facility in Springdale. It's out off of 412, and I don't know how many square feet it is, and I don't know how many hitting cages. And
it's a pretty neat place.
Hit tracks, which is TRAX. He asked me if I wanted to get in there and hit some off a tee, and he was going to get some data on my swing and everything. And I looked at him.
Yeah,
I had just come from.
He would have boosted you up. So I mean, if it'd be like a ground ball against a major league pitcher, it'd be a home in the level that he'd have you. That's what he's done.
So his son,
because he's good about pumping people up.
He had his son get in there, and then he showed him that he how you can you make it like the wind's blowing out. And his son hit one to right center, and it went 1,400 feet.
Now look,
he looked at me, and I looked at him. Oh, and the kids just love that.
Dalton Carpenter can hit. I don't know if he can hit at 1,400 feet, unless the computer program's helping out a little bit. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty cool,
great.
And and the kids were starting to roll in when I was leaving yesterday, and hey, they look at him, and I mean, he knows every one of them by name, and they're little and they're big, all ages, and it is just something beautiful to behold. And they say yes sir, no sir, and they come in and they do their work, and it is just amazing. I'm doing an ad now. I know I am. But if you've got a kid and he loves baseball and has any desire to just improve as a young age, that's your place. And he's the right guy. He's got the right approach. They're all like his sons. I mean, he talks to every one of them the same. You know, I saw a couple of his sons there, and they all are the same to him in his eyes.
Look, I mean, I think one of the things that makes Bubba such a great color analyst for our baseball games for the Arkansas Baseball Network is that he can communicate to anybody about the sport. You know, I mean, he could talk to big leaguers about hitting. I mean, and be on their level. You know, talk about things that none of us really know what it is they're talking about. And he can teach, you know, a 6-year-old and be at their level and feel like he can talk to anybody about that.
He has an approach where he can use the analytics, but it's common sense, and he can do it for a lot of different reasons. He actually wanted me to get in there and swing off the tee a little bit. I had just come from Mark Powell's office where he put a cortisone shot in my left knee. I did not think it was a smart thing to do.
Probably not. Yeah.
And I mean, Mark didn't say, "Hey, don't go hit any baseballs this afternoon," but I think I just know not to do that.
Goes along with not running 2 miles or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And by the way, he's a great guy too. You know, and he helped the basketball team for years and years. I mean, he's a guy that I don't mind, having him do stuff on my knee. He scoped it once, and we fly fished together. So I had a good day. I had lunch with Mark after he treated me, and then I went out and spent that time with Bubba. I mean, it's like somebody says, you're retired. Well, I'm not really retired, but I've eliminated everything that's not fun. And yesterday with Bubba was fun. And you love him the way I do, so you know I'm telling the truth.
Well, being in the hitting facility with him is a ton of fun. It's also fun talking with Charlie. He's giving us a call if you want to get with us. 877-3. Yeah, that's right. See, we know our nicknames here. 877-377-6963.
From Bubba to Tuna.
Charlie, Clay knows your nickname because you refer to yourself in the third nickname person. So congratulations.
Well, how you guys doing, Clay? I hear you had a great day yesterday. You know, when Drew, it was always a funny thing when Drew was on here, and Matt is not gonna have this issue at all because Matt has so many friends and so many people that he's close and he loves, and Drew did too. But it was always this thing for Drew, man. He had this, like, you remember this, Phil? Like this, just it was like jealousy. The love, the bro love between Phil and Bubba on the when they call the games. Like Drew wanted that, and I'm like, man, I feel for you, Drew. I understand. Because, like, Phil.
What are you talking about? I want that too.
We're starting to develop that, Matt. It's happening. It really is.
I didn't even have given that one away yet.
It's the combination of admiring the person that annoys you all at the same time. It all works together. It really does.
Matt, I was trying to say, man, you got all the. I mean, you're like Matt Jones, so I didn't think you needed all that.
It's all good.
But no. Yeah, Clay is great too. Clay, I don't think you've retired and all, I guess officially, but yeah, man, don't ever leave us. Just keep doing this. Do what you're doing, and then we would. I mean, I know they would like you on here every day if you'd call, so I wouldn't mind it. You always give good knowledge. Definitely. Ty would.
Hey,
love
Charlie,
it.
let me read something to you here, and Clay, you get on this, Matt, too. This comes from John Rothstein, who covers college basketball at CBS Sports. Alabama, remember they gave up 100 points to Gonzaga, scored 90 in that game.
Is that their last loss? Yeah.
They have surrendered an average of 61.3 points in the last 4 games. Hogs have had trouble getting to 61 on the road. At home, we're hoping it's a different thing, but if it's not, maybe it's like an idea that he may just have some trouble scoring for a bit.
Are they strictly a man-to-man defensive team, or do they play any zone? I mean, it's not going to matter because we're going to play against the zone because of how we struggle with it. I just wonder
That's
what when I've watched them, I think I've seen a little bit of both. I haven't seen every game. I did watch them against Gonzaga. Was that a 3 overtime game? I can't remember. They're going
4.
to 3 OTs on that?
Went to 4 OTs against Carolina.
Okay, I'm getting them confused. Yeah, man, I'm not surprised. So they've improved defensively since that Gonzaga outing. Yeah, it's just going to be hard for the Razorbacks to score against anyone right now until they figure it out against this zone defense. And it's not just as I tell people that have such great basketball knowledge, it's not just about shooting threes, man. You got to figure out different ways. You got to have somebody cutting at the right time. You got to get the ball in the middle of it. And I personally, last year, I can't remember. A lot of times they would put Jay Will right there, or even J.D. Note at times. I would like to see them do that. Maybe put Anthony Black in there somewhere and let him be that guy that's in the middle of that zone if they can figure out a way to do that. I know he can handle the ball. I get all that. But, man, I feel like he'd be really good right there.
I think Devo might be good with his quickness and the way he doesn't – his outside shot's so streaky just as much as anybody else's, but I see what you're saying.
His mid-range, though, is deadly.
That's it. If he got open there, he can make that shot.
Yeah, I agree. So let me get off here, though. I don't want to hog it up because I know y'all probably got more on the phone. But anyway, yeah, I agree with you, Matt. It's just I think the line has flipped a little bit because this morning I saw Alabama was favored by 1.5, and Arkansas is now by 1. So I don't know what they'll finally decide. Is somebody hurt for Alabama? Everybody's healthy, right? I mean, I don't know what they switched.
I think I'll tell you what it is, Charlie, and
the home court stuff.
It's good to talk to you, man. It's different sports books, and it's the Bet Saracen. I haven't looked at the other in-state sports books, but that's an in-state sports book, so theoretically that's mostly Arkansas fans putting money on this game. And the local sports book, Bet Saracen, has Alabama as the favorite, where the national sports book has Arkansas as a slight favorite. It's interesting.
The thing about putting Anthony Black inside that zone area is he's our best ball handler, so I don't necessarily like that to take our best ball handler. But Devo is such a good passer and sees the floor so well that I think he could be kind of like that scat back in offense. You know, your change of pace back that you put in that's not necessarily the power guy that can get in there and find the cracks. And he's so talented, and he can make that second pass and get kind of like that hockey assist.
You know, there was something interesting that I heard, and he kind of got cut off because of the flow of the game, but Dane Bradshaw was kind of hinting that what he wanted to see Arkansas do against that Auburn zone was run their man-to-man offense.
That way they're moving, yeah.
And, you're cutting and you're moving, and what can happen against a good zone is they match up anyway. I mean, they're playing man principles, and there's sometimes it's really hard to tell.
We got stagnant a little bit
when you're playing a matchup zone. Is it zone or is it a man-to-man? And I used to listen to Nolan, and he's just like, we're just going to run our man offense and start cutting and have different guys handle it. And you got to have guys that can catch it and handle it and do all those things. But I see that. When you talk about taking the ball out of Anthony Black's hands, I agree with you, Matt, and you know more basketball than I do for sure.
I don't know about that, but
you do get dangerous when you start standing around.
That's his opinion. And I love him to death. And he gets into that corner and he would just sit there and camp out. It's like, hey, run to the other corner, run up there and set a screen. Why aren't y'all cutting and moving? And we do such a good job at passing the ball against the zone. We're not moving without the ball though. And I get this and I think it's hard to replicate that from defense from practice to game.
If he moves, he's going to drag somebody
every time.
They're going with him.
Yes,
you're looking for soft spots in a zone. It's not there unless you move the zone a little bit. You got to move those defenders.
And then as a defender, my best thing, if I know where you are, then I can defend you. If you keep moving, then I have to keep my head on a swivel.
There's two ways to attack a zone. You attack it by getting the ball to the high post, and everybody talks about that. But you also get it to the baseline, and I'm not talking about the dead corner. But you get it to the baseline and you make everybody turn around, all at once you got 4 guys that are receivers for passes. And that's the way our high school team played against the zone. We get it to the baseline, inside, around the short corner or whatever. And then, I know Eddie Sutton did that. And he had Sidney Moncrief, and then later he had Darrell Walker.
It helps when you have Sidney Moncrief, yeah.
Yeah, but they got it to him on the baseline.
I think Devo could be that guy running short corner and baseline because he's a willing passer, and then it leaves our bigs where you can have that oop pass. You have the lob pass up to the rim when they do come to you.
And I don't think we've seen Devo in the corner very much. He's usually around the top.
He's staying on the perimeter. Yeah, you're right. That's what he's been doing.
So the key tonight, and everybody's going to say, well, it's shooting. Yeah, I mean, it is both teams force turnovers with their defense. and it's which team takes care of the ball. And I think if there was ever a game that I think it's important to get a lead, this is it. I mean, giving up a 4-point play to start the game against Auburn, I mean, the place just erupted, and it boosted Auburn, and I don't think they ever got past
We never
that.
got in the flow. Auburn controlled the game from the jump.
They
That's
did.
exactly right, yeah.
Well, and you also know, I mean, it's 6 o'clock. I'd love to see the place totally filled at the tip-off. It's a little difficult,
It's
a little
kinda
tougher
hard.
getting there
Yeah.
a little earlier. So nobody wants to be sitting in their seats when it's already, what
This is
happened
the
in
best
Missouri
team in
game?
the league. This is the best team in the league, and it's also the best chance to get your season jump-started.
Well, we've got it
Talking
right
about
here.
Arkansas.
We got it right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. A 5:30 Learfield pregame. Ruskin and Zach will take you right up to it, and Hog reaction after the postgame. So we've got you covered here as far as Arkansas-Alabama basketball. And if you want to be at Joe's Grill and Cantina to watch it, we'll get over there early. There's probably going to be filled up, especially for a 6 o'clock tip. And half-price apps and taps throughout the ballgame today. That's actually throughout the entire day. Every Wednesday, the special is half-price apps and half-price taps at Joe's Grill and Cantina, where you can enjoy yourself and watch Razorback sports. They're at 3400 South 74th in Fort Smith, across from Harps. Open Tuesday through Saturday. joesfortsmith.com, and you can order on the Waiter app. We're visiting with Pig Trail Nation's Alyssa Orange on Halftime next.
In return, oh, yeah. Now I know this is a lesson, Mr. Big Stuff. You haven't learned, Mr. Big Stuff. Tell me, who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff?
There's no place in the SEC that does it like this. Where the home court advantage is so huge when the fans show up.
Number one environment in college basketball, no argument, Bud Walton.
I ain't never heard them get that loud. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sportsbook in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store, or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters. Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling, next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using a Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom. Whether you're trying to win a bass tournament or whoop up on a bunch of white bass and stripers, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. will catch them. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place, the Umbrella Flash Mob Jr.
Come on along, head for the mountains of Bush Beer. Head for the mountains, it's cold and it's smooth and it's waiting for you. Come on, head for the mountains of Bush beer. Head for the mountains of Bush. Head for the mountains of Light Beer.
Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2022. Anheuser-Busch, Busch, and Busch Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment? Not having enough home time? Feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit PatriotTransport.com to apply. That's PatriotTransport.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Well, I snuck to a window to leave her a note. Will you come meet me at the back of the grove? All the trees were in bloom, that sweet smell in the air. We were trembling together. We were young, we were scared, yeah.
Sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
And Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation joining us here on Halftime. Where are you, Alyssa? You've got a tweet. I'm going to just take a guess here because this looks like it's a museum. Are you at Crystal Bridges?
No, that actually, that's a picture I got sitting on my kitchen counter. I found it on the internet, and it's obviously Fayetteville. And so I thought it was pretty, can I say badass on the radio? That was pretty badass when I bought it.
You just did.
I've said it a time or two myself.
Thanks, Clay. Thanks, Clay.
All right. Yeah, you can say it if you only if you say, am I allowed to say this?
With all due respect.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, great.
Right. Alyssa, well, congratulations to you. Congratulations.
Thanks.
They named you won
you guys are
the Arkansas Sportscaster of the Year award from the National Sports Media Association. So that's outstanding.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you so
get the floor is yours.
Yeah, no, very honored, truly. I got to share in a tie with Kyle Deckelbaum, who previously at KTV, who is a outstanding broadcaster and journalist himself. So honored to share with him. And Scotty was the writer of the year for Arkansas. So proud of him, too. And I just want to say, one, thank you. I love what I do, and I feel like I was able to do some really cool projects this past year, which kind of tapped in and reminded me exactly why I do what I do. But you guys so graciously allowing me to be on the radio with you guys this year has been a blast as well. So I thank you for that honor, but I know that a lot of people played a big role into it.
I hope you're going to go to the banquet, which I know is in Winston-Salem. They've had it in Old Salisbury before when I went there, and it's a unique event. I hope you're able to go.
Yeah, I hope so too. You know, definitely, obviously, the first time winning this award, so I feel like it's important to go close to home, a couple hours away from Richmond, so maybe some family can join me. The only downside is it is that final weekend of the championship series of the College World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the only thing, would keep me holding me back.
Well, no, you go, Alyssa. Just go. Don't.
Okay, but I want to see a national title, Clay.
That's all right. You can. You'll watch it from TV on TV,
That's
and you
what
can. no, you need to go to this banquet. And I've heard.
All right. Well, you're the third.
Bo
You're the third one
Mattingly's
who
told me about
that,
it. My
so.
dad, Jim Bailey, Harry.
Yeah.
You need to go.
Well, thank you. I will. I just hate it that it's on the same weekend.
That's all right.
Well, Alyssa, congrats, and we always love having you. I do want to ask you about the Arkansas-Alabama game tonight, and it seems like we have two teams going in opposite directions right now. Is it that serious? How important is this game tonight?
I think it's a really big, important game for Arkansas to kind of solidify their message, which is we are one of the best teams in the SEC. And, you know, right now they're 1-2, and they haven't really been able to make that kind of statement. You wish you'd have been able to go on the road at Auburn and LSU and get those wins, but you didn't. And I think you make statements on the road in this league, but I think that you can earn respect at home in this league as well when you beat teams like Alabama who come in here ranked in the top 5. Because Arkansas is talented enough to compete, to win, to beat teams like Alabama, but you got to be able to show it, and the pieces right now aren't clicking exactly the way that the Razorbacks want them to, and you have an Alabama team who knocked off number 1 at the time, North Carolina, a couple of weeks back in December. They are rolling right now. Nate Oates has just really, truly put his mark on that basketball team. And this one is a big one. This one really kind of separates, okay, can Arkansas be one of the best 1, 2, 3 teams in this league, or are we going to be a middle-of-the-pack program come when it's all said and done?
Interesting, because this isn't make or break, but you're right. I mean, if you lose, you don't want to see what's happened from Alabama in these past 3 games that they've played. I mean, they've run teams off the court. I would be surprised if that happens today. And I know, Muss said something about tinkering with the lineup. He pointed to Trey Wade last year, that they got more playing time. We know from from a couple years ago, Devo and J. Will didn't really get on the floor very much until conference play, so we weren't sure what you'd get from them. Where do you tinker with this lineup? I mean, every time Jalen Graham can score, I'm not sure about his defense, about his rebounding. Joseph Pinion at times has shown a lot, but other times looks a little bit pensive. So where's the tinkering?
I would go back to Jalen Graham, and I was really surprised he didn't get in as much as he, in my opinion, should have been in that Auburn game, just to see if an offensive spark is going to help, because that's where they're struggling right now. They're not necessarily struggling on the defensive side of the ball. They can play good defense. And so can you sacrifice a little bit of that defense for some offense to win some ball games? I see you make that change and just see what happens, because if you could get rolling offensively, if Jalen's in there just for a little bit of time, but in 12 minutes, he gives you 10 points, and now you're able to then put that defensive guy back into the lineup like a Kamani Johnson, who's so great defensively but not as strong offensively. Can you balance the two back and forth? But I was really just waiting for that spark to just kind of come in and see what would happen against Auburn, and we never saw that. And that's what they're really missing right now. And if I were Muss, I would sacrifice a little bit of defense for some offense and see if it could just help you right now.
Yeah, I would like to see to your point, like when Jordan Walsh comes out, if Graham is his substitute and is kind of being able to do that like for like there, to your point, and if Jordan Walsh can get through the first half without picking up 2 fouls, that would be important too, because his athleticism, we're going to need him tonight if we're going to have any chance to rebound with this team.
We're going to need to see Anthony Black play the way that he played against Creighton, against San Diego State. Was out early because of Auburn and early 2 fouls, as you mentioned, these freshmen getting into foul trouble. You have to be disciplined because, like you said, Matt, you got to have Jordan Walsh on the court. You got to have Anthony Black on the court, and they just have to be smart and disciplined. They're aggressive, but you have to be disciplined with that aggression. And we got to have those 2 guys playing their best basketball tonight if you're trying to beat the number 4 team in the country.
And Kamani and the Mitchell twins. I mean, they're going to have to play big with this big lineup that Alabama has some length and some size. They need to play big and physical and kind of be enforcers down there on the block because we don't ask them to score much. We don't run a lot of plays for them, but they got to be able to rebound. They're going to have to battle tonight.
Yeah, they are. This is going to be the biggest test I think Mikhail Mitchell is going to have to face. Kamani Johnson has always been aggressive. He is understand. I think the biggest thing with him is he was in these games the last 2 years, the last 3 matchups in these past 2 years. He understands what it's going to take to beat an Alabama team coached by Nate Oates. So he's been there before, and I think that that's going to be huge for when he's in the game and what he knows of how to be aggressive. But, man, you might want to dial up Sam Pittman and talk about some bully ball for a second and figure out how you can push people around down there in the lane a little bit. Get some pointers from some of these defensive and offensive linemen because it's going to be a battle down there, down low tonight.
Hey, Alyssa, Nabes' team has been bullying the last 3 teams that they played. And it'd be interesting to see if Sailor Poffenbarger can win a Freshman of the Week award, number 5, playing just 1 game in the week that they will announce it because they don't play until Monday. I love so the two. Sailor right now obviously is front runner for SEC Freshman of the Year. You don't win 4 of the first 8 of those weekly awards, and you're not the front runner. Sam won it last year, and one of the things that stands out about both of those players is when they don't score, they're doing a lot of other things: stealing, rebounding. Running the offense in some cases. They're really versatile players, but when you add Sailor's height into that, man, she's unique. She's a unique player.
Yeah, she really is. I joked yesterday when we were talking about this award. I was like, Sailor Poffenbarger is going to be the one that the SEC decides to cap these. You can't, after you get to 5, you can't have anymore. I mean, she's incredible, and I hope they don't do that, but it just is a testament to how well she's playing right now. And we understand she is kind of an old freshman. She's had to sit and watch a couple of years. But she's like a Swiss Army knife. And she talked about it on the broadcast after that Missouri game that, I can do whatever the coaches need me to do. If you need me to coach their big, I can do, or if you need me to defend their big, I can do that. If you need to put me on Haley Frank, I can do that as well. If you need me to score, I can get open, I can hit threes. And so I can do a little bit of everything. And so that is something that I don't necessarily think Arkansas has had yet. They've had players who can do things really, really well. Like Michaela Daniels is such a good defender, and she can shoot, but she's so good defensively. And obviously Chelsea Dungy and Amber Ramirez were such offensive weapons. But Sailor can do a little bit of everything, and it's exciting. And Samaria's got a little bit of that in that, too, that she can be an orchestrator. She doesn't have to always be a scorer.
So I had a theory. Your Dolphins made the playoffs. I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing because they're about to get boat raced by Buffalo. I mean, I didn't even want the Steelers to make the playoffs because the same thing would have happened. It's like, okay, you get an extra game check. That stands for itself. Yeah. But it ain't going to be pretty. I don't think it's necessarily good that Miami made the playoffs.
You know what? This is Skylar Thompson's moment. Okay, and I am on the Skylar Thompson bus, but I think that you're 100% correct. We're not going to see Tua on Sunday. Everybody knows that, and I think maybe Miami bowing out gracefully and not going to the playoffs would have been a good move, but I was not going to lose that game so that the Patriots could get it, and then you've got the Bills and the Patriots. We just kept the Patriots out of the playoffs, and so that's all that I care about. We're going to go to Buffalo. We'll see what happens. It's going to be full of emotion. I saw that DeMar Hamlin is out of the hospital now, so I bet that he's there at the game watching in some capacity, you hope. So there's a lot of things stacked against the Dolphins. It's cold. I have been to Buffalo Stadium in the winter, and it's freezing, and you have people throwing snowballs at you because you're wearing Miami Dolphins gear. And you know what? I'm just happy to be here. But Skylar Thompson's going to pull it out. You heard it here first.
He is. He's gonna pull a rabbit out of his hat, but not a win out of his butt, which is what I take.
Come on.
Hey, Alyssa, appreciate you, and again, congratulations, Arkansas Sportscaster of the Year, along with Kyle Deckelbaum. Kyle left KATV. Alyssa ain't going anywhere. She's staying in Pig Trail Nation, and hopefully for
I will
a long
be
time.
here. Yes,
All right,
thank you,
Alyssa
guys.
Orange with us every
Always
Wednesday
a
here
pleasure.
on Halftime. Brought to you by WT Equipment. They've got 8 locations to serve their customers across Arkansas and North Louisiana. They're an authorized New Holland agriculture and construction equipment dealership. WT Equipment offers equipment sales, service, and parts. So if you need equipment to be ready for harvest or putting up your hay next summer, WT Equipment is your source. If you're in the market for a compact track loader or excavators, get over to one of their 8 locations. You can see all their inventory as well at WTEquip.com.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season to esports. You'll find the latest odds, team matchup info, player news, and game trends at BetOnline. BetOnline features live betting, free contests, and live scores for almost any sport or game imaginable. We're the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite leagues and events. Head to betonline.ag to join and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Make sure to use the promo code BELIEVE to receive your rewards. That's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline remains your number one source for all your sports betting this season. Everything from the NFL and bowl season.
He's got a clover jump placed around his neck. Makes a man feel looking like he's a prince and everybody
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Clay Henry with us as well. And see what we got here. We've got 37 days until the start of the college baseball season as our countdown continues here. I got one thing I do know, and I'm trying to figure out one thing that I don't know. I don't know who the Arkansas closer is going to be. Brady Tigert got most of the opportunities last year. Hagen Smith ended up, closing some games down in the tournament when push came to shove, and Brady had trouble finding the strike zone. I do wonder if Cody Frank, graduate transfer from Nebraska, who's done some long relief, some starting. Maybe that's a guy who could close, or perhaps Cody Adcock if he's not starting, the kid who was at Ole Miss and then went to Crowder and transferred to Arkansas. But I do think they'll have they'll have plenty of candidates for that role. As far as one thing I do know, Dave Van Horn is 4 wins short of 800 at Arkansas. Norm won 1,161 games, so Dave still has a ways to go to meet that. But 19 wins from 1,400 for his career as a head coach, and that does count the time he spent at Texarkana Community College. So love the round numbers. So
what's the that's pretty cool. What's your favorite number 37 in sports, Phil or Clay? Like when you think numbers, do you have a 37? Because I know Jamar Gallen Clay was 39, who was one of my favorite at the University of Arkansas, but 37 is kind of a number that goes under the radar a little bit.
See, I think that was Lewis Campbell's number. He's one of my favorite guys. I fished with Lewis. I'm pretty sure he's 37.
That's cool. There you go. See, everybody has. I have a guy, Joe Brown, that was in. He was junior high. That's how far it goes back for me to find a 37.
I see Carnell Lake wore number 37. I loved Carnell Lake.
Yeah, Sean Alexander
safety for the Steelers.
Yeah, Sean Alexander, running back from Alabama that played at Seattle. He was number 37.
So Dave gets his number 2 back this year, right?
I guess. I mean, if he wants it.
He's going to wear number 2.
Let me see. Let me look at this. I got a roster from Oliver Grigg, who's the SID, and yeah, Dave's back to number 2. There is no number 2 on the roster.
Be a 1-year deal.
What was he last year?
I think he wore 20. Was it 21 last year? Because
21,
he won.
I think.
That was. I mean, this was like the Robert Moore's father is the general manager of the Kansas City Royals, which he isn't anymore. It was he traded the number to Jalen Battles in order to quasi convince Battles to come back and play for him. I think he told him, if you come back and play for me again one more year, I'll let you wear my uniform number. So he did.
Hey, that matters.
See, now, Phil, I think it was just the opposite. I don't think that was Dave's idea. I think that was Jalen's idea. And Jalen started talking about it, and Dave kind of rolled his eyes. You're not coming back. You're going to sign. Well, if I do come back, can I have your number? Well, it's like, yeah, because you're not coming back. I'll promise you something that'll never come true. And then it just kind of kept going. And then right before the draft or whatever, he goes, "I'm coming back. I want your number." And
I believe it.
That's the way I remember it.
I believe it because when I was there my freshman year, I was 13, and coaches wouldn't take my red shirt off. I said, "I'm not ready. I can't play if I'm not in single digit. I don't feel sexy if I'm in a double digit." And then I go to basketball my freshman year, and they tried to give me 43, who was Clay. You know who 43 was? The Jodine Davenport, who played basketball and football. And I looked at the equipment guy. I said, "Absolutely not. We are not going out there on the hoop court in 43." Single digit.
Single digits is kind of an international thing too in basketball.
That's it. I mean, at Northside, the best players they 1 through 9. Like if you're touching the ball and that's the athletes go get that you get 1 through 9.
And that's your reason for never wanting to wear a double?
No,
digit?
Jalen Rose is my reason, because Jalen Rose was I love Jalen Rose, watching him play, and then Lamar Odom. They both wore the number 5. So my freshman year, TJ Cleveland wore the number 5, and I wanted 5 in football too, but Gerald Howard had the number 5, and so I was going to redshirt and then get it my next year and be 5 for 4 years in a row. So I didn't mind being 13 if I was redshirting. Was able to be number 2 my freshman year. Then I finally got to wear number 5 one time my junior year in college basketball. I got to wear number 5. Yep.
I know I saw a clip out of that. I wanted to wear number.
Did you guys hear my phone ring?
I thought I did. Yeah.
Guess who called me?
Was he number 37?
Lewis Campbell.
Oh.
No, I mean, this is hilarious. So who should know I'm on the radio right now?
Jean Ann.
Tommy.
He just wants to say hey.
Kraft just called me.
He just say hey.
Well, I mean, it's like, so I see him a text. It's like, I'm kind of busy right now. I'm on your radio station.
Because he thinks you're on a Tuesday. He might not have known that you got your cortisone shot yesterday.
He doesn't know.
Probably right.
Know. That's right. So I shouldn't be mean to Tommy for doing that.
Phil, you were talking about Buffalo routing Miami. Do you think that's the right move? Phil and Clay not playing Tua with his concussion history this year? Or do you think if they had a chance, they would still play him?
I mean, your starting quarterback gives you the best opportunity.
He's their best
quarterback.
With that said,
I would say 5 years ago they would play him.
They'd play him.
Things have really changed, Matt. It is really. I mean, it's a different world. It's a different time.
You've got this string. How many concussions this year?
He had 3, right? 2 this year. I thought he had 3 that were that last one.
And then you're right after, Hamlin, having his
incident.
Gosh, yeah. So I mean, it's just like everything is weird in the NFL right now.
Man, if I'm Hamlin, I'm giving some of that donation to that first responder that saved my life. All that money that was into. I'm about to say that was tip of the hat to that dude, man.
Pretty sure he's given a lot of money recently to him.
That's our 5-star hero of the year so far, no question about it.
I was watching, I don't know which game it was. Maybe it was Detroit and Green Bay the other night. Because I like to watch Frank Ragnow. He is so good. Gosh, he's good. I mean, if you can take your eye off the ball and watch him, I mean, he obliterates his man every time. But something happened and a player was down and a trainer came out.
Oh, yeah, number 7 pushed the guy. Yeah.
The player bumped into him, and, I mean, it was almost a throwdown. I mean, trainers
can't do that.
Trainers are now like they're priceless.
They're priceless. You can't touch civilian. Like if you're not a player, unless they rush the field, you can tackle them or do whatever. But you can't if they're not an athlete. You just can't put your hands on them. That's automatic ejection.
Yeah, and it was one team was like, that's our guy, man. And never has anybody loved trainers more than right now.
I think that's Aaron Rodgers' last game he plays as a Green Bay Packer.
Oh, there's no doubt.
Yeah,
you just saw him. Yeah.
He looked this whole year like he was just kind of a red shirt year. He was just putting up some little numbers, and he's staying healthy to go somewhere else.
The word I would use was disinterested.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. I think he's interested in quote unquote finding himself. I think was the whole ayahuasca thing. If I'm still mispronouncing that hallucinogenic drug that he was on in South America. I think he's interested in finding himself. I didn't think he'd be a great host on Jeopardy. I don't think he'd be a great analyst, although he'll be on McAfee's show until the end of time. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be interested in finding Aaron Rodgers, maybe in a Jake Plummer sense. All right, let's break, and we'll wrap up hour number 2 in just a moment. Brought to you by CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. When you're headed up to the game today in Fayetteville, if you're headed up from Central Arkansas, well, you might want to leave now. Or the River Valley, you can stop by at the Arkansas Avenue location in Russellville for CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. That's a tradition, stopping there on your way up to Fayetteville for Razorback Sports. Or you can stop at the Weddington location once you get there, and you can enjoy the best burgers, the best fries, and the best shakes anywhere in the state of Arkansas. That's CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. And we'll wrap up hour number 2 after this.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind everyone to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I'd also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify.
The homestead tax credit can save you up to $375 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor.
A new year means it's time for new work boots, work shoes, safety shoes, casual shoes, fishing shoes, hiking boots, and cowboy boots. Gelco Outdoors has the largest selection and the best brands, ready to make your feet feel happy in the new year. Crappie fishermen, Gelco is stocking up for the spring season. Come check out the gear. 50% off clothing on the clearance rack, loaded with New Year savings. Gelco Outdoors, your store for work and the great outdoors. 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey & Hull Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey & Hull have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit kevinhickeylaw.com or give them a call today to schedule your consultation. Hickey & Hull Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off 5540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Would you like to cut your heating bills without cutting comfort, lower your utility costs, while enjoying the reliability and efficiency of a new Luxair HVAC system? Have your contractor call J&B Supply to hook you up with a Luxair system perfectly suited for your home. Luxair provides optimal comfort, energy savings, and lasting performance. J&B Supply, where the professionals go for all their HVAC and plumbing needs since 1968. J&B Supply, with locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville.
Van Alma Tire Center is always right around the corner from you with all the major brand tires for you to choose from. Bridgestone, Firestone, Cooper, and more. Turn into Van Alma Tire Center for all your tire needs, alignments, oil changes, brakes, and more. With service you can depend on, Van Alma Tire Center is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle and tire needs. Right around the corner at 6805 Alma Highway, 5 miles east of Van Buren and 2 miles west of Alma.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Nickels and dimes, memories and wine. She's on his mind once again. The same old stew, the same old fool. Played by the rules but didn't win. There's an old love in his heart that he can't lose. He tried forgetting, but he knows that it's no use. He's got a full-hearted memory.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
He sits patiently
And Clay Henry with us, too. Did you guys see Spencer Rattler announce he's coming back to South Carolina? I was thinking, where were you going to go to begin with?
Edmonton, maybe?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Got a grade of a day 3 draft pick. So I didn't see anything quite different from that other than what I saw. And his numbers were not very good, honestly. And you can look at how he played against Tennessee. I get that. But take away the 6 touchdowns.
He finished better than he started.
He did, but near a 1-to-1 interception to touchdown ratio.
Oh, yeah.
18 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He was 6 touchdowns, no interceptions against Tennessee. Take that away, it's 1-to-1. I know you can't take it away, but the hype doesn't lead up to.
They had a weird season, didn't
they? Carolina.
I mean, some of their wins and then some of their.
When we played them, they started off slow to the point that he didn't really he's his first year there, and they did not look like they even went through camp when you watched Arkansas play them the second week of the season. I didn't think there was any way they'd end up a top 25 team. I was wrong about that.
Yeah, they got smoked by Georgia, lost to Mizzou at home. Had some close win against A&M, beat Vandy by 11 on the road. Got crushed by Florida. This is the thing that made no sense. Florida was just so, and they crushed Carolina 38-6, and then they go on and knock Tennessee out of the national championship conversation, and then go and beat Clemson before losing to Notre Dame. And admit it, that was a great Gator Bowl. That was one of the better New Year's Six bowl games.
There was only one other game that rivaled it, and Arkansas played it.
That's exactly right. You see, what did Beamer get on his contract? Because I know he just got a humongous raise. He's going to be making $6.1 million this next season, and he made under $3 million last year. And automatically, he gets a $250,000 raise every year on a 5-year contract. Yeah, interesting. Well, I mean,
that's Rattler. That's Dow Loggins' quarterback.
That's exactly right. And Trey Knox going to be catching passes from him, too.
They might be okay next year.
They might be okay. I know they've lost a lot in the transfer portal. So is Arkansas. But the Razorbacks did get a commit that they really wanted from this Isaac Tesla, which we'll get into more of that in the next hour because we are right up against it here at the top of the hour here on Halftime. We'll have the phones open as well at 877-769-63. And Bill King joins us in about 20 minutes. Thoughts on Georgia's win in the national championship. Clay, we haven't talked to you about that either yet, so we'll get into that. And Clay's also got some thoughts on Arkansas baseball, which again is 37 days away. So halftime is back. We're into the downslope towards the weekend, and you can feel it approaching. You really feel that Arkansas-Alabama game approaching first. 5:30 with the pregame, 6 o'clock the tip right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
People come and people go. Simple facts of running a business. But when the folks that have keys go, it creates a new issue of protecting your property. Instead of having the expense of changing locks, consider using access control so you only have to terminate a card. Guardtronic, the River Valley's leader in security, can install an access control system that allows you to know who and what time someone comes into your business. And with only a few clicks on a keyboard, that access is denied instantly. Contact Guardtronic at 800-542-7866 or connect through guardtronic.com. License E050.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, mostly sunny sky or high in the upper 60s to low 70s. We'll cloud up tonight, see a few showers or some thunderstorms. Our overnight lows will drop down in the upper 30s north, mid 40s south, and then falling temperatures on Thursday with partly to mostly sunny skies. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Here we go. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
For this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Phil Olsen and Matt Jones. Produced by Matt Travis.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man!
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
Do we believe?
Second half, very happy.
Is vintage Matt Jones.
Hold the rope! Hold the rope! Hold the rope! 1, 2, 3! 1, 2, 3! Turn that back, your
Now, here's Phil Olsen and Matt Jones.
So we've got this situation with the FAA. Apparently the system is back up and running, and they're trying to restore order. A lot of flights have been canceled. Apparently the FAA lost the ability to track planes for a really large chunk of the morning and into the early afternoon as far as the East Coast is concerned. So
I knew something was going on. No planes have come into Norfolk today.
Yeah, you can usually tell what's going on based on the air traffic above the Norfolk River, right? The Shea Stadium of Arkansas. Yeah. But I didn't know who was calling the game tonight. Now I would know who was supposed to call it. It's a good thing Alabama got in here today, or got in yesterday. They didn't have to worry about this. This game with Arkansas and Alabama, which is being telecast on ESPN2, is supposed to be Carl Ravitch on the play-by-play with Jay Billis. Ravitch had his flight canceled because of this FAA situation. So Jimmy Dykes is going to be on the call along with Jay Billis, which
Billis
is
came in yesterday. Yeah,
it's an interesting combination here because, you can do play-by-play on television, and it's a heck of a lot different than doing it on radio. So I guess in this case, Clay, Jimmy is the play-by-play guy, and I guess Billis would be the analyst, or maybe they'll reverse it. I don't know, or maybe it's just two analysts calling the game.
I think they're both going to be analyzed.
Yeah, they'll both analyze. Jimmy's. I know this happened to Jimmy. Remember, I think he did sidelines of a college football game right after 9/11, or the week after 9/11, because of flights and situations with that and everything. So. He is sometimes Joe Klein is the one that gets called at the last moment. Jimmy Dykes is the guy.
Pat Bradley did he do the last home one? Because that's SEC Network, huh? And then Dane Bradshaw did the one at Auburn. Yeah. I like old Pat, man. Pat's been getting good. Pat's pretty. He's funny, man. He's knowledgeable and good.
So y'all remember Jimmy years ago when he was just getting started? He had to do the outdoor games, and he did the dog jump. I mean, he's done it all. I mean,
like ESPN the Ocho? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, where they have the
I've always wanted to go to one of those.
Flies out in the labs, jump for it.
You got to have a good thrower too.
You've got to be you've got to be very enthusiastic for those kind of events. Otherwise, I don't know how you necessarily analyze these jumps.
They got the Frisbee one too, where they're in the Canadian football field and they throw that Frisbee 120 yards, or I guess it'd be meters over there. But then that dog goes and gets it. It's fun to watch.
Jimmy said he had to learn the dog names. I mean, you can't say, well, there goes the black one.
They don't have last names tattooed on the back of their, on the back of the dog either, like we do for humans. Yes, and it's a little bit different. They don't wear uniforms either.
That's the only way I can remember the name.
Hey, man, that's how I remember names too. That's right. I can't remember people's names unless I see you on Twitter over and over and over and over again, or you're on a roster, or you get your last name on the back of your shirt. And sometimes people that wear a last name on the back of their shirt, they wear someone else's last name on the back of their shirt, not theirs. All right, Isaac Tesla has decided to be a Razorback, Clay. I'm interested. I mean, apparently he makes a lot of one-hand catches. He had a lot of production at Division II Hillsdale. When you look at the two receivers that they have committed in the transfer portal, they don't have Division I FBS experience. They've produced, being lightly recruited kids as far as, Division I football is concerned, and then grown into stars in the FCS and Division II, and now getting this opportunity. Armstrong, the kid from A&M Commerce, was recruited by a ton of schools in Power 5. Same with Isaac Tesla. So it's kind of a fascinating situation where, and I don't think they're done signing wide receivers, but the two that they have, they've not played big-time Division I college football.
Yeah. So here's what I know. A player is a player, wherever they're at. Production is production. And from talking with NFL scouts, what a guy has. I mean, does he have the speed? Does he have the size? Does he have the length? So they're not taking chances. They're not. They know what they're bringing in, and they're going to play. And I covered UCA when I was at the Conway paper when I was just getting started, and saw Monty Coleman. You knew he was a player, and you knew he was going to. When the Washington Redskins drafted him, you knew he was going to play. And John Ridgway, there wasn't a doubt about him. So, and the scouts knew about him, and I mean, Arkansas can do the research. Is like, that this is a guy that is productive at his level, and he's going to be fine. I don't know that much about either one of these kids, other than I trust them that they think they're productive players, and their numbers say that they are.
Do you think they're done signing or looking for wide receivers? You have a class from this last year that they're still really high on. We didn't really get a chance to see Satania too much. Mbake, same thing. Do you think that they're done signing receivers? Because you've lost so much production, even as far as pass catching tight ends.
Well, so let's just talk about what happens with receivers, and I think they've got some that they feel pretty good about, or Keytron Jackson wouldn't have left. There's something going on that they saw in their practices that they think they've got. Jaden Wilson, I think he's a good player. I mean, it's just some of them, their time is just coming. They've signed receivers. They lost all their starters last year, and I didn't think their wide receivers were a problem this year. There's not any doubt. Warren Thompson saw what was going on in practice and got out of here. I think they're going to be fine. I think they done signing wide receivers? I don't know what's out there. You're probably asking the wrong guy, Phil. I'm sorry, but that's not where I'm worried about this team. I want to see what they've got at right tackle and left tackle, and I want to see what they've got at safety. Those are my areas that I say, let's see what they've got in spring, and I'll go watch practices, and that's where I'll train my eyes.
Well, in Tesla, you're getting a bigger kid. He's gained 25 pounds since he was a senior in high school, and just watch. He looked like a man amongst boys. He looked like he was a high school player playing against junior high in the highlight tapes that I did see of him. But he looked very natural catching the ball, and I think that being said, he's going to be able to block. Physically, I think he's going to be able to play in the SEC. Speed-wise, I don't know. He looked about like a 4.7 guy, so we'll see. That's all I'm seeing is his highlights. But physicality, he's going to be good in the run game. In a matchup nightmare, I think he could be like an H-back where he's a slot guy, and you can match him up and get him the ball quick.
Yeah, some people worry about speed at receiver, and
it's about trying to get open. Yeah,
it's about, do they have a feel for the game? And Matt, you had a guy that was, to me, he's one of the best to ever play at Arkansas, George Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't a burner.
He's a 4.7 guy, 4.6 guy.
He kept playing.
Yeah.
And it's
his knowledge of the game, Clay. Man, that dude, he was a student of the game.
And plus, he had. Eddie Sutton called it the Valentine. That heart was just so big. I mean, that's what and if you're a player, you're a player.
That's right.
Back for a moment on the thing we opened this segment with. I did not realize, I think this is Jay Billis's first game ever inside Bud Walton Arena. How long has he been calling games on ESPN? I mean, it's been over 20 years.
I always think of him as calling a North Carolina game.
I do, too.
Yeah,
I think of him as, being at ACC games, too. When's the last time Dick Vitale was at Bud Walton Arena? I think he's been there maybe once or twice.
Yeah. I think he's looking forward to it, too, because I was, I'm kind of weird. When I'm traveling, I find something, some talk radio. If you guys were on, I'd be listening to y'all. But I listened to a lot of PGA Tour radio, and they had a podcast on last night, a brand new one that he's going to help host. He's going to host a golf podcast with some other guys, and he was on that podcast, and he said, I'm doing it from Fayetteville. It's my first game in Fayetteville. I'm looking forward to it, and he kind of talked a little bit. Then he, went into some golf stuff. But I kind of perked up when they said he was going to be on because I knew he was coming to Fayetteville. I didn't realize he was already there.
Well, it's just one more person to show how Bud Walton Arena can be and maybe is the most difficult place for a visiting team to come in and play well. Where you're getting a team in Alabama that's already. Did you watch that game when they went into Houston and the place was crazy? That Fertitta Center was absolutely nuts. That they were number one, and I forget what Alabama was ranked, but it was the biggest game played in that building ever. And Alabama goes out and beats them, and they've got wins at South Alabama, at Mississippi State, at Houston. It's kind of an immovable force versus an object that whatever the other side of that cliche is.
They went to South Alabama and shot 10% on threes and won. They can play a lot of different ways. And their front line, 6'10", 7 foot.
Going to be a tough one. I think it'll be a good game. But man, I think there's a lot of people in Alabama that view this as Alabama's toughest test of the season so far. I think if you're the Razorbacks, I think it's the same thing. Even though you're playing inside Bud Walton Arena, they tell you got to hold serve at home. Well, hold serve at home tonight. 5:30 is airtime for the broadcast 6 o'clock tip. It's the unstoppable force and an immovable object. Thank you very much, Scott. Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio next on Halftime.
Final Four. In them wacky uniforms with the pigs with horns. And did I hear you say you were playing a game today with the home crowd yelling, woo, pig suey? Hey, those pigs may be hogs, but they're kosher to me. Capiche?
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3.
Arkansas wins a national championship!
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names. And tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind everyone to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I'd also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify.
The homestead tax credit can save you up to $375 off your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by the Sebastian County Assessor.
With over 8,000 square feet of all the latest trends in lighting and plumbing fixtures, Great House Fixtures has all the brands you know and love, such as Visual Comfort Lighting and Delta Faucets. Their experienced staff can help you design and select the perfect fixtures for your uniquely you home, including sinks, tubs, faucets, custom showers, indoor and outdoor lighting, chandeliers, mirrors, hardware, and more. Make your house a great house. Learn more at greathousefixtures.com, located on 0th Street in Fort Smith. Great House Fixtures by J&B Supply.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
No MSRP markup. At Road Chevrolet, we never price a vehicle over MSRP. Other dealers in our area mark vehicles over MSRP, taking advantage of the times we live in. Not Road Chevrolet. We believe in being honest and looking out for our customers. Wouldn't you rather get a great deal you can feel good about from a locally owned dealership that cares about more than just profit? Before you pay over MSRP, let us show you what we can do. Find new roads. Road Chevrolet, just off I-540 exit 2A Van Buren. Prices you'll love, people you can trust.
Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company has 2 locations, 1316 South Zero and 200 South Zero Street in Fort Smith, serving the glass and glazing needs of Fort Smith, Northwest Arkansas, and Eastern Oklahoma, commercial and residential. Tub and shower enclosures, mirrors, glass table, and countertops cut to custom size are just a few services offered by Arkansas Glass and Mirror Company. Arkansas Glass and Mirror stocks laminate glass, plexiglass, Lexan, window glass, and mirror and plate glass. For more information, call 646-4300. That's 646-4300.
High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service is all about God, family, and our country, and they proudly display the red, white, and blue. At High-Tech, they specialize in truck and trailer repair, service, and are certified in refrigeration repair. And every day, give thanks to those who have served our country and paid the ultimate sacrifice for folks like you and me. High-Tech Truck Refrigeration Service, located in Van Buren at 6410 Alma Highway or at 479-474-2220.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Southern nights. Have you ever felt a southern night? Free as a breeze, not to mention the trees, whistling tunes that you know and love so. Southern nights.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Taking hold of college football. They did an unbelievable job. This is a young football team. This isn't an old football team with a bunch of guys losing. Now listen, the NFL can take its chunk out of any.
That was David Pollack speaking on ESPN, and I think he said that right in front of Nick Saban, who was in the studio as well. Studio being, right there at the stadium. Bill King's with us. Bill, it's obvious who the best team in college football was this past year. There was one undefeated team, and Georgia left no doubt against TCU on Monday night. And it sounds like they're primed for the future and a potential three-peat in a lot of people's minds. When you watched that game on Monday and knowing what they had to replace from the year before, what are you seeing in the future for Georgia too?
Oh, it's bright, but Kirby also said he thinks it'll be harder with everybody back, or with a good chunk of people back, because it's hard to get the buy-in. When you have a situation where you have a bunch of people back who participated and had direct, abilities in that ball game, then it's hard to convince them. We got to start, and here's another metaphor he uses, we got to start back to eating off the floor. That's hard to do. And he knows this because he's been at Alabama when they've tried to do it. And they did it in 11 and 12, and they're still mad that they didn't do it in 13 when you had the kick six and all that. It's hard. And he said it was easy this year because you had so many people leave, so many people back that didn't participate much, that they bought in. So, look, guys, they're clearly the favorite again. Their schedule is not invasive at all. They've got to go to Tennessee, to Auburn. That's about it. And they're not going to lose any of those games, I don't think. So they're the odds-on favorite to do something that I think it's Minnesota back in the 1930s did, and that's win 3 in a row.
Yeah, it's tough, and Bill, the thing that we don't want to understate is that quarterback play. I know they got a lot of talent everywhere, and I get it. It's easier to play when you got a lot of talent, but you got to replace that quarterback, and he's been through it. He's had the reps. He's been through the battles, so that's going to be important when you get a new quarterback, and then they do get in a battle. Has he made plays yet? And it'd be interesting. Do we know who will be Georgia's quarterback next year?
There's a 4-star, and then there's 2 5-stars that have been sitting there. The 4-star is going to be a third-year sophomore.
So he's got some age to him, yeah.
It out. I'm sorry?
I was saying, so he has some age to him. He's not a true freshman coming in off at a high school.
No. He's a third-year kid, and then they have 2 5-stars that are behind him. One will be a redshirt freshman, and one will be a freshman. So, no, they're in good shape there, and you got to remember, last year they tried to get with all those players back, including Stetson Bennett. They went hard after Caleb Williams. I mean, they went hard after him. They weren't going to get him because I think the deal was always going to be Southern Cal, but they tried very hard there. I don't think they're doing anything in the portal, and I don't think there's anything left in the portal that they would be interested in. But, they got the best tight end coming back. He's just a true sophomore, and they always have a good offensive line. A good chunk of that defense is back. The best defensive player, and I think the best player in America, is gone, Jalen Carter. But they're loaded up, guys. And, of course, and now they're doing a little bit more in the portal. They took a really good receiver, Dominic Lovett, out of Missouri. They took another receiver, Ra Thomas, out of Mississippi State. So they've been doing that.
Anybody in the East that can hang with Georgia? Is Georgia pretty? I mean, I looked at their schedule as well. It doesn't look like that's going to be too tough, and they've only been lost 3 games in the last 3 years, and 2 of those were to Bama.
Tennessee would be the only team, and they've got a new quarterback, Joe Milton, who's not new, but we've got to watch him play. Played well in the bowl game, give him that. And then they've got a superstar freshman, this Nico Iamaleava kid, but you don't want to throw something on a freshman until you see it. And the only team that slowed Tennessee down at all this year, and they slowed them down, they stopped them pretty much, was Georgia. Tennessee did not match up well with Georgia at all. Tennessee's offense did not get much done at all. Every other game they played, they had their way with the other team's defense. And we'll see if they can improve on that this year. I wouldn't. Right now, Georgia would be a double-digit favorite in every one of those games.
Who from the East do you think can challenge here? I mean, LSU is a surprise division champion. The theory was Alabama took a step back. It took a couple of really close one-score losses on the road. Is it Alabama above everybody else, or do you see possibly another surprise East Division or West Division title?
I think it's Alabama 1, LSU 2. That LSU offense came a million miles through this season, And with Jaden Daniels settling down and he's back, and they've got good depth behind him too, that offense ought to be even better. Keishon Boutte is gone, which actually is addition by subtraction because he just wanted to be a diva the whole time. And I think they're going to be better on defense. They had some problems. They thinned out on the defensive line, had some trouble in the secondary. Guys, they've taken 4 listed cornerbacks, LSU has, in the transfer portal. Obviously, you can't get 4 of them out there, but they've taken 4 listed cornerbacks, so obviously they wanted to upgrade there. But I think Alabama won. Ty Simpson is going to be the quarterback. He's out of Jackson, Tennessee. He's a former 5-star. He was offered by Michigan when he was in 7th grade, and his dad is the coach at UT Martin, the head coach there in Jackson, Tennessee, Martin, Tennessee, at UT Martin. So this kid grew up. He's got a big arm. He's athletic. So I think they'll be in really good shape. They'll be in good shape running back. They got to be better at receiver. And they've taken a portal tight end out of Maryland. The tight end was a need for them. So they've taken what might be the number 1 recruit in America out of Florida, Keon Keeley, a big 6'6" defensive end who probably starts or plays, rotates immediately. You got to go with them number 1. Yeah, for sure in the West.
Around the college football landscape, is it still the same as far as Michigan, Ohio State, USC, Clemson? Is there somebody else you see outside the SEC other than those kind of blue bloods that are going to make a jump like TCU did this year? Was kind of your Cinderella story?
No, I don't. And I didn't think TCU would either.
Right.
So obviously somebody could emerge. Penn State, watch out for them. They went 11-2. They got a lot of really good talent that played this last year, young players. This kid they're bringing in, Drew Aller, the quarterback, was the backup to Sean Clifford. He's way better ability-wise than Sean Clifford. He's a former 5-star. They're loaded at running back. They've got speed. They played really good on defense this year. Watch out for them. That's going to be – I'll tell you what, the Big Ten East can rival the SEC West with Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. That's 3 really nasty teams there. And I think another lesson we learned, guys, is I think the committee got it right, but it's also a lesson that until proven otherwise, the chalk's always going to win these things. And when we go to 12, there'll be teams that get in that would never have gotten in before, so I guess that's good, but they're not going to win it. This notion that a St. Peter's in football could upset Alabama is just crazy. It's not March Madness, and it's not going to be.
Is Harbaugh – so, I mean, you mentioned about, Michigan and the Big Ten East. Harbaugh, this dalliance with the NFL is it's an annual thing. I mean, how many years do you see him sticking around here at Michigan? I mean, at first it was, he can't beat Ohio State. Well, he's done it 2 years in a row. Now, can't get to the national title game. Who knows if that'll happen? Do you see him long for Michigan, or do you see him heading out sometime soon?
Very simple. If he gets an NFL offer, I think he's gone. I think he's absolutely gone. I don't think there's any debate, and he may get an offer. There's talk about maybe Denver, and I don't know all the opportunities that are out there because I'm not much of an NFL guy. But
does that change the pecking order in that division? Does that change the pecking order, which right now it's Michigan 1, Ohio State 2, Penn State 3. Does that change if Harbaugh's gone? I mean, it took him a while to put Michigan up at the top of that division.
I think it probably would. Yeah, I think it probably would. The chances of you replacing Harbaugh with somebody that can maintain what he's now got going there, even at a brand like Michigan, the odds are not with you. Now, they'll be good. They'll be good. They'll be a threat, but we're talking about the pecking order 1, 2, 3. I think that probably would change back to Ohio State.
Yeah, I wondered too about Florida State. I looked at the Vegas odds, and they had Florida State about 3rd or 4th to win the national title. I don't know if I'm a believer yet. Are you a believer in Florida State?
No, not that level. Now they are better, and I think they're, for the first time in almost 10 years, they're a threat. Probably back to 13 and 14 when they won it and then got to the semifinal that the first year in 14.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're not on that level. No, they're not. They're not top 5. Could they be top 10? I think so. Jordan Travis, the quarterback, who is another quarterback who's come a million miles, is back, and he has become a wicked threat. They have good running backs, good receivers. Jared Verse, who they got out of a tiny college a year ago in the transfer portal, who's a first-round draft pick, is coming back, which is a huge shock. He's a terrific defensive end. And, guys, they've taken 9 in the portal. including the number 1 D tackle that everybody wanted out of Western Michigan, this Braden Fisk kid. He's a big body that'll go in the interior for them. They're going to be a threat to unseat Clemson. I don't know if I'd be willing to bet you a bunch on it, but they are the most threatening they've been in quite some time.
What do you think of Arkansas's offseason so far? You know, they've lost a lot in the portal. They've also gained 8 transfers, including this wide receiver, Isaac Tesla, from Division II Hillsdale. No, he's been, he got offers from a ton of big-time programs right now. But from your perspective, where do you see Arkansas fitting into the SEC West? And I ask that question knowing they're not done in the transfer portal, and then we do this portal thing all over again after spring ball.
Good additions. Yeah, and receivers, man, can come from everywhere. It doesn't matter. Some of these fans think that if you didn't have high school rankings, then what's the point? Well, those rankings don't matter anymore. What you've done in college matters now, right? And they've got impact guys coming in, but here's the problem. Again, you're in the wicked West, SEC West. And who are you jumping? You're not jumping Alabama or LSU. You don't have better players than A&M. Now, A&M just went 5-7, so I understand the debate there. And you're probably even with Ole Miss. You're better than Mississippi State, I think, coming up. And I don't like the hire Mississippi State made. So it's going to be tough. The ultimate question is, you did add some nice pieces to the roster, but did that change your position in that division? And I don't know that I can make that claim.
Not a fan of Mississippi State sticking with Zach Barnett as the head coach?
Oh, no. That's got I'd say about 100% failure rate attached to it. It's a very difficult job. Now, that guy might turn out to be a really good coach. Okay, so it's not trying to demean him. Mississippi State's the toughest gig in the West, frankly. Now, you can win some there. I saw Jackie Sherrill win some there. We saw Dan Mullen win some there. Mike Leach had some nice wins, but it's still a very difficult gig. And I think taking somebody on that staff, the defensive coordinator, and handing it to him, when Mike Leach was the coach and you had that implemented, I don't see any way that's a good idea.
Yeah, it would seem the way you're putting it makes a lot of sense. Bill, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you hopping on with us on this Wednesday. Thanks for your time, and let's do it again next week.
Yep, thank you, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio.
Bill, it's tricky. I think with that Mississippi State situation right there, I like the fact that they kept it in-house, but they weren't expecting that. It kind of came out of nowhere, and they didn't want to do something I don't think anything to sink the ship, so they kept it in-house and trying to get an OC. Does he last long? I don't know, but I do agree with Bill that Mississippi State job in football might be the hardest job in the SEC West.
Well, and I think NIL is a piece of it, but man, I mean, if you look throughout the years of SEC football, Starkville has usually been the toughest place to recruit players to. And it even gets the same with NIL potentially right now. Phone lines are open, 877-377-6963. It's home stretch time, and halftime is right back.
Joe Klein here for Bet Saracen, Arkansas's favorite sports betting app.
You bet it is, Joe, and football is in the air, which means Bet Saracen has everything you're looking for and more right there on your cell phone.
Now everyone can get in the game and follow your favorite team.
And that's right on the money. If putting down a little wager makes your favorite game a little more exciting, we'll go to the app stores and download Bet Saracen. We even got a demo video to show you how to play.
Or find it at betsaracen.com.
When you need a plumber, call the name you know and trust, Ashley Air. The same great people that take care of your heating and cooling system can also meet your plumbing needs. Right now, take $50 off any plumbing repair or get a $129 drain cleaning plus a 2-year parts and labor warranty. Restrictions apply. If you have clogged drains, Ashley Air is the one to call. Go to ashley.air.com to schedule your plumbing service. That's ashley.air.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics. Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. General dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Drs. Sparkman, Nanda, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Thank you from Art's Barbecue and Burgers for a successful year. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to shout out our amazing community of customers that we are grateful and thankful for, each and every one of you. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wants to continue to enjoy our best barbecue, burgers, all-you-can-eat catfish every Friday night, and of course, the great sides and desserts. Art's Barbecue and Burgers wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Art's Barbecue and Burgers on Rogers,
next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Hi, this is Melissa Vitale, owner of True Grit Running Company. Your young athlete deserves the best when it comes to footwear. After all, it's good to start early so they don't have problems in the future. We've got options for training, cross-country, gym class, and more. Our well-trained staff can guide your student athlete through our personalized fit process to help find that True Grit fit. And for our cross-country kids, we offer a 10% discount off of your total purchase. Visit our store in Fort Smith, located behind Chick-fil-A.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
That asked Clay to come up with a couple of things for the baseball team that opens up in 37 days. One thing you know, one thing you don't know. I told you earlier, I know Dave Van Horn is 4 wins away from 800 as the head coach at Arkansas. I don't know who the closer is going to be. So that would be, I've done it now 3 days in a row. I'm starting to figure these things out a little bit. Clay, what do you think? What do you think? What's one thing you do know?
That Brady Slavens is going to hit in the heart of the lineup and probably hit some off the scoreboard.
I think that's probably a correct assumption. Yes.
Had the elbow surgery that kind of kept him. Everybody was, wondering why he was just DH, but he had a bad elbow, couldn't throw it. Got that fixed in the off season, and I think he's hitting his stride. From what I've been told, that he's when I say hitting his stride, he's over the injury and probably can play some first base, can throw it, but he's the one thing you hope that will happen with him is that, that he'll maybe be more selective in his approach. Approach is the key word, right? That's the word you hear in baseball. For pitchers, it's pitchability, and then for hitters, it's approach. And that's always the thing with Brady. Will he go after pitches that you really can't handle?
Yeah, sometimes his approach is see ball, hit ball, and they'll just kind of
like a
dangle
linebacker.
that change up out there for him. His numbers were down as far as batting average, on base percentage, and slugging. Home runs were up, walks were up too from him last year. But I do wonder about it's like, this is a sport where guys are used to playing both sides, and as a full-time DH, it's not that it takes your focus off the game. It's just you got to find a way to get in a routine to where you're ready for every single at-bat in a way that's a little bit different when you're playing first base. And I thought he actually turned himself into a decent first baseman a couple years ago.
I think so, too.
All right, one thing you don't know.
How the defense will be at shortstop. And that is they were so good in the middle of the infield really the last 2 years with Battles and Moore. And I'm not so worried about second base. That's Stovall, right?
Yeah.
He's going to play there. And I think he can pick it, and I think he's all right there. And I guess it's not something that you really ever get a whole lot of worry about with Dave Van Horn, because he'll find a shortstop. He'll find somebody in middle. That's his deal. He's the middle infield coach. You can say all you want about what Dave does and how he approaches the game or whatever, but that's his baby right there, second base and shortstop, and how he coaches them.
Yeah, Harold Cole came over from San Jac, potentially to play shortstop. I think he might be a hit-first shortstop, which is okay. I mean, you've seen that before, but I think you'll notice, and even with Stovall, who I think will be a good second baseman, he won't have the same range that Robert Moore had. Not many second basemen do have that sort of range. And watching him turn two, that's another thing about Robert. I mean, he was a shortstop that had to move to second base because Battles was so good. His hands were so quick. That double play turn was incredible. So, I mean, Stovall also turned himself into a better than serviceable first baseman last year, playing out of position. So I'm interested to see how he turns that double play.
Yeah. I mean, he can pick it. That's what we saw. And I watched him practice. And, when they're doing hit practice, they've got a screen up to protect him, and they're hitting ground fungos or whatever you want to call it at him. And, boy, could he pick it. So I think he'll be good at that. Robert Moore was the best second baseman at Arkansas, and I'm going to throw this out and see if either one of y'all can guess. He was the best second baseman since who?
Johnny Ray?
Well, I thought Johnny Ray was more of, a hitter than he was a defensive player, although he was really good defensively. But this guy played after Johnny Ray, I'm pretty sure.
Who is it?
Oh, come on.
You're giving me an come on?
Ryan Sandberg.
Well, Ryan Sandberg is the best ever. Dave Van Horn.
Oh, Dave Van Horn. That's right. Well, that was, let's see.
One season.
Yeah, Dave played a little bit after Johnny Ray. That's right.
Yeah. So I was talking to Dave one time about him playing and, something about how he played second base and, whatever. And I was like, you didn't make many errors. And there was just kind of an offhanded comment because I saw him play. He said, I made 3. And then he detailed the 3. And I may not get this right. I might be off on this exactly. It's been a long time since we did this interview. But it's like I flipped one to the shortstop, and he didn't get it. And he should have.
He's still mad about it.
Yeah, and then he said, then there was a scorer's judgment error. In other words, it was a hit, and they gave him an error. And then I think there was one in the sun. There might have been a ball down in the Bermuda Triangle that, the sun, he's looking up in the sun, he didn't get it. And I don't know what happened on that one. I may not remember it exactly, but it's like basically what he was trying to tell me is he didn't make an error.
Yeah, blame it on the second bit. Blame it on the official score, which I've I've had that job a few times. Yeah, well, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Sometimes it is the scorer's fault.
I mean, if it's a smash and you don't get it, yeah, I've been the official scorer, and you got to make a decision. Sometimes you can just flip a coin, and it's and then there's some times where, okay, the pitcher's got a no-hitter going, and it's late in the game, and there's a smash, and it's a lot easier to say error and protect that no-hitter, right?
That's true. That's true.
But shortstop is the deal that I don't know about. I guess, Phil, to say what I know, I think they're going to have a guy in that cleanup hole, probably Slavens. They'll have a big bat there. I bet they still hit home runs. But I don't know. That defense was so good in the middle infield, and what will it be like at shortstop?
Yeah. Clay said he was at Bubba's facility for over an hour. And Bubba wanted to get him in the cage. I want to get you in the cage. Like I know you played a little baseball when you were a lot younger, but I need to see you swing a bat at some point. I'm not going to ask for your velocity because maybe the shoulder still gives you some problems sometimes.
Oh, I can't throw. Yeah, but intramural softball. Phil, Clay, Clark Moore. We had it. I mean, he's a baseball guy, another buddy of ours, and we look forward to that because I couldn't play intramural basketball because I lettered in basketball, so I could only play intramural softball. And man, that was spring ball, and then you go out to the softball fields afterwards. Man, those were some good times.
So did the football team have their own softball team?
You could only have 3 scholarship athletes per team, so you had to get other people that weren't scholars. So, but those were our 3. We had 3 that we all 3 hit homers in the championship game. We were down 26-0 after the top of the first, and because they bring out the new softballs for the first game. It's like just bam, bam. It was like 26-7 after 1. We ended up winning like 31-29. I mean, it was an outrageous softball
and then
game.
Those things get a little bit softer and they don't quite fly quite as far, right?
Man, missiles.
Dented.
Man, rockets.
Oh, just imagine.
I was talking with Bubba. He played in the era. I mean, he finished like 80, 88, 89, 90. He hit 400 in back-to-back years in the Southwest Conference, and that was a little before the hottest of the metal bats. And he said he came back a few years later, and Norm used to have an alumni game. And the alumni would play the current team at George Cole Field. And the scoreboard, the alleys at George Cole were massive. They hit hundreds of triples. Norm built teams for speed. AstroTurf, big alleys. And the scoreboard at George Cole was way out there in right field. And Bubba said that they used the bats that the team was using, and these were the hot bats. They could get somebody killed, pitchers. And he said he went up. He's left-handed, and he said he was way out front on a changeup and hit it off the end of the bat, and it went over the scoreboard.
I saw somebody.
He's left-handed.
They still have a couple of those bats around that they'll break out, for batting practice with a coach or something like that. I saw Josh Elander hit a ball off the top of the scoreboard at Auburn's ballpark a few years ago, and that bat made a sound that sounded like a missile. I've never heard anything quite like it before. And it's funny you mention all the triples. Look at all these triples. I'm back in the media guide here for Arkansas baseball. Arkansas, I don't have the numbers from last year. They had 11 triples in 21, 2 triples in 2020. Back during the days of George Cole Field, routinely 38, 35 triples. You never talk about a team
triples without a play. Yeah.
Well, you never talk about a team being a triples team. It's always a doubles team. No one ever says I'm building a team to hit triples, but I guess Norm did. All right, we got a break. We'll wrap things up on halftime after this. But first, want to remind you about Bet Saracen. With today's line being really interesting on Bet Saracen, I want to refresh this just to double check about it. And they still have Alabama a 1.5 favorite on Bet Saracen. The Razorbacks are the favorite on the national app. So, hey, you get a little different odds at Bet Saracen than you get anywhere else, especially when it comes to Arkansas games. Arkansas law prevents all the big national apps from operating in their state in our state. So if you want the most accurate and up-to-date sports wagering information, be on the Bet Saracen app. Apple App Store, Google Play to download, or any web browser, betsaracen.com. All right, wrap things up after this on Halftime.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Make today more interesting with Betly's online sports betting action. You can bet on pro and college games with Betly, the only online sportsbook in Arkansas and Tennessee. And right now, every new customer can cash in on a $250 risk-free first bet. Download the Betly Sportsbook app now in the Apple and Google Play Store, or visit Betly.com. With Betly, every game matters.
Must be 21 or older and located in Arkansas or Tennessee to bet. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Late breaking news. Central Hydraulics has teamed up with Wacker Neuson to meet your ever-growing equipment needs. Wacker Neuson offers loaders, excavators, skid steers, telehandlers, and more. Central Hydraulics is also your Gates Hydraulic Hose Center. Stop by today at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith. Central Hydraulics, helping you move the world.
Are you a qualified CDL driver with local or over-the-road experience? Tired of driving older equipment, not having enough home time, feel like a number? You need Patriot Transport. Patriot Transport, based in Centerville, with locations in Russellville and Van Buren, provides you with late model equipment, has a family atmosphere, and provides you the opportunity to make $95,000 per year. Patriot Transport works with you to get the miles you want and the family time you need. Change your life today. Visit patriottransport.com to apply. That's patriottransport.com.
Today is the day. After countless hours of research, cutting back expenses, and 9 months of anxiously waiting for her, today is the day you finally bring home your new car. It's also the day to protect her with an auto policy from Shelter Insurance. Our policies are competitively priced and include new car replacement coverage if anything were to happen to your new baby.
Call Randy Milam in Alma or Brandon Zimmerman in Barley.
Van Alma Tire Center is always right around the corner from you with all the major brand tires for you to choose from. Bridgestone, Firestone, Cooper, and more. Turn into Van Alma Tire Center for all your tire needs, alignments, oil changes, brakes, and more. With service you can depend on. Van Alma Tire Center is your one-stop shop for all your vehicle and tire needs. Right around the corner at 6805 Alma Highway, 5 miles east of Van Buren and 2 miles west of Alma.
When your carpets, upholstery, and floors look dirty and stained, call your local Service Master Clean at 646-4087. Service Master Clean is an industry leader and can remove the toughest stains from your home or office. And they back their work with a satisfaction guarantee. Eliminate dirt and grime from your carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate floors. Call your local Service Master Clean, 479-646-4087. That's 646-4087 or online at servicemasterpc.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
So hard living with the things you do to me. Oh, my things are getting so strange.
passionate one.
Oh, yeah, it's like lightning. Everybody was frightening, and the music was soothing, and they all started grooving. And the man at the back said, everyone attack, and it turned into a ballroom blitz.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Give them a call or send them a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
And wrapping things up along with Clay Henry as well. If you missed anything on the show today, all our interviews, all the segments are on the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast. That's anywhere you download your podcast, and we get it out pretty soon after the show is over. Thanks to Matty T, always making sure that is ready to go. And Ruskin and Zach, they get the short show today, 2 o'clock up until 5:30. That's when the Learfield pregame begins with Chuck and Zim at Bud Walton Arena for the 6 o'clock tip, which is on ESPN2 or right here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com with the 15th ranked Razorbacks against number 4 Alabama. And then we close it up later tonight with Hog Reaction. So we get you covered as far as this basketball game is concerned. Last thoughts on this game, guys. I mean, this is a chance to, get a signature win in your home building. Pick up, start to find somebody to pick up the slack for scoring somehow in a building that they're really comfortable in. But what are we going to see tonight?
Don't think about it. Play hard, play fast. Play fast, play physical, rebound, do the things you can do. Don't think about, can I shoot the ball or not, go out there. You've been coached. You're talented. Let your talent work for you. Let technology work, as you say, when you're swinging a golf club. You ain't got to force anything tonight. You're at home. Go out there and play fun, play fast, and pass the ball like we do. I think we can get a win tonight.
Clay?
Well, I look forward to it, first of all. It's a fun night. This is what, SEC Arkansas basketball is all about. Bring a great team to Bud Walton and then, give them a spanking.
That's right.
That's the way you look at it. And there's not a better home court in America. There's some other good ones. And if you're somehow the first 30 minutes you stay even, and in the last 10 minutes, that's Razorback time in Bud Walton.
Well, I hope we're talking about a big win tomorrow. That'll be the overarching conversation. Well, we're back with you for another award-winning edition of Halftime at 11 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. So, for Clay Henry, for Matt Jones, and for Matt Travis, I'm Phil Elson. We appreciate you tuning in. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and stay tuned for Ruskin and Zach coming up next. So get up, get out, and